In a certain classroom, a teacher was standing at the podium asking the students below if they were ready. It's almost time for the gene enhancement injection. Everyone, please have confidence in yourselves. 3 years of effort of improving your bodies and cultivating your martial energy has all been for today. And yet there are still those who never took this seriously. Hearing this, the young man leaned on his hand, grinning foolishly as he thought to himself, "You've got to be kidding me. I'm not the one with bad grades. I just transmigrated into this body, so what the hell is there to be ashamed of? But then again, I'm in the original owner's body now. I guess I'll have to make him proud." This is Anton First High's gene injection room. Inside this box is the Gene Awakening Serum, which contains the primordial genes of all the demonic beasts that we human martial artists have collected. After it's injected, your body will absorb one of them to awaken. Generally, the stronger your physique, the more powerful the demonic beast gene you will awaken. The teacher held up the vial as he instructed them. Don't worry, students. After injecting the Gene Awakening Serum, just calmly accept this power. Then students like Tran Bang Phi Mu and Don Nak were called up one by one. After their injections, each of them screamed in pain, their bodies undergoing a bizarre transformation that caused panic at the scene. After they took the serum, they all became very strange. They even looked like they were in agony. It seems this thing isn't easy to obtain. He decided to cast everything aside and stabbed the needle straight into his neck, determined to risk it all. As soon as the serum entered his body, Dai Hoa's eyes turned blue. "But something's wrong." The teacher leaned in, peering at him face to face, and said, "Student Di Hoa, it seems like you haven't changed at all." Di Hoa also looked dumbfounded and replied, "Sir, was the serum I injected a fake?" At that moment, a sassy girl in a pink dress appeared out of nowhere, taunting him. "Ha ha ha, everyone, look! It seems Di Hoa didn't awaken anything at all. A martial artist who hasn't awakened is like a bird without wings. Isn't Di Hoa finished now?" Suddenly a chill ran down his spine and his heart pounded. A strange sensation spread through his body. The system displayed a notification. Infinite monster model acquired. Host Di Hoa. Constitution B rank composite. Martial arts standard issue student Chi Refining Art Lan Sun Fist Chi Gong. The girl in pink, hands on her hips, continued to pick on him. "What's the big deal? If you didn't awaken, you didn't awaken. What are you pretending for?" Di Hoa's body began to tremble violently and his voice changed. He warned, "All of you, get out of here now!" The girl confronted him. "Why should we? On what authority?" Di Hoa gritted his teeth and replied, "If you don't go now, it'll be too late." The moment he finished speaking, he let out a ferocious roar. A terrifying burst of power erupted, sending her and the nearby students flying. Everyone was thrown into chaos. The impact of that power is too strong. "Who awakened this aura? I can't withstand it. What did you do?" Some of them glanced over, thinking to themselves, "Is there someone stronger than me?" System display A-rank monster model. Legendary Demolock. Bloodline abilities Plague Infection. Terra Breath. Thermonuclear Pulse Nuclear Energy Absorption. Evolved form Crimson Demolock. Can only be activated at 100% compatibility. Current compatibility 3%. Di Hoa's entire body trembled as he muttered, "A-rank model, Infinite Demolock. What is a monster model?" Di Hoa looked at the palm of his hand, which was glowing brightly with spiritual power surging from every cell. The energy was so abundant it was luminescent, he exclaimed in shock. "Could this be the golden finger the system gave me?" The students who had always looked down on Di Hoa couldn't believe their eyes as they witnessed this incredible scene. Was that really that worthless guy from just a moment ago? The guy standing next to him also had his eyes wide open. In an instant, he used his aura to push everyone around him away. The two of them glanced at the girl in pink, the one who always bullied Di Hoa, now lying motionless on the floor. Her eyes were rolled back. They whispered, "Wang Tongtong was knocked out cold and she awakened a Tier 2 fire gecko. So what kind of monster model did that Di Hoa guy awaken?" The buzz of discussion was endless after witnessing Di Hoa's terrifying inner power. Those who used to mock him now could only bow down on the ground, trembling in fear. With an innocent look on his face, Di Hoa scratched his head in embarrassment. Sorry about that. It got a little loud. I did tell everyone to get back. What can I do if you didn't listen to me?" Just then, the school's broadcast system blared an announcement. The awakening injection period has ended. All awakened students are required to proceed immediately to the testing building to determine your demon beast gene and martial arts level. The scene changes to the testing building, which is equipped with many advanced breakthrough testing devices. The modern gene scanner can accurately identify the type of demon beast gene and the martial arts level of each person. The students entered the testing area one by one, and the results were quickly displayed on a large screen. Li Xin Yuan Class 12-8 awakened the Tier 3 Swiftwind Insect Demonic Beast bloodline. The crowd immediately buzzed with excitement. So lucky he used to be just average. Now he's the trump card of the class. A powerful bloodline is no joke. The next result was announced for another male student. So Chao 9th Dan Martial Apprentice awakened the peak Tier 3 Ice Demon Dragon bloodline. Everyone started chattering excitedly again. So Chao really lives up to his reputation as the top student in our grade. A 9th Dan Martial Apprentice who also awakened a peak Tier 3 Ice Demon Dragon. He's definitely going to be this year's top scholar for Antan City. Another beautiful female student drew just as much attention when her results were announced. Lu Wudong, 9th Dan Martial Apprentice, awakened the rare Tier 4 Nether Sparrow bloodline. The crowd erupted once more. Look, Miss Lu is also a 9th Dan awakened. Oh my god, a rare 4th tier Nether Sparrow. This is a true prime specimen, a 4th tier demonic beast. If it revealed its true form, it could destroy half the city. Ordinary martial artists are nothing but ants before them. Only a Grandmaster level expert would have the power to fight back. Meanwhile, it wasn't Dihoa's turn for the test yet, so he stood below looking up at the results board. He rested his chin on his hand, puzzled. Their monster models are all divided into 3rd tier and 4th tier. So why is mine Class A? He wondered. Suddenly an announcement came over the loudspeaker. His name was emphasized in an unusual way. Next up from Class 7 Row 3, Dihoa. Dihoa flinched, his face turning slightly red with embarrassment. Did they really have to call out my full name and stress every single syllable like that? Thanks to the earth-shattering display just a moment ago, it happened very quickly. Dihoa became the center of all attention and expectations. Admiring and awestruck gazes focused on him from all sides. The crowd automatically parted into 2 rows to let him pass. The whispers of admiration were endless. With an impact force that strong, he's guaranteed to become a big shot in the future. I need to get on his good side now. I definitely have to latch onto this big shot. My dream boat, it's Dihoa's turn. With that kind of aura, his level must be high. He's the real deal, the absolute peak. The more praise he received, the more pressure Dihoa felt. Only he knew the truth. My talent is rated Class A, a completely different classification system. He muttered, this world truly worships the strong in such a blatant way. Dihoa walked past the crowd chanting his name and went straight into the testing room with a calm, expressionless face. Meanwhile, the shouts and discussions outside continued unabated. This time, Dihoa is definitely going to make the whole class look up to him. It's his turn. His abilities definitely can't be ordinary. So damn cool. What tier is his bloodline to be able to release such a powerful aura? Our Ancheng is finally about to produce a major figure. However, in a distant corner, someone stood silently watching, their gaze cold and displeased to see Dihoa being celebrated. This person thought to themselves, so his name is Dihoa, huh? He's certainly something to look forward to. A moment later, Dihoa's information appeared on the large screen. It only showed basic info while all the other important stats were listed as undetermined. Everyone stared at the results. Their surprise turned to shock, then erupted into a wave of doubtful and mocking chatter. Martial Apprentice 3rd Stage. Undetermined Demonic Beast Bloodline. Martial Apprentice 3rd Stage. Ha ha! Even my little brother in middle school could beat a guy like that. How embarrassing. We got our hopes up for the wrong person. Once again, the crowd's attitude shifted in an instant as mocking laughter rang out. An undetermined bloodline probably means it's nothing special. That's right. How could a mere Martial Apprentice 3rd Stage possibly have a good bloodline? So all that hype earlier was just him letting out a big fart. In the end, Dihoa is still just useless mud that can't even stick to a wall. While everyone jeered, Dihoa quietly walked out of the testing room looking dejected. The young man muttered, the Damala wasn't detected by the scanner, but the Infinite Monster Model System has been activated. A virtual system panel appeared in his mind again. Infinite Monster Model Upgrade Guide, complete missions and increase fame. To receive more monster model draws, current draws 0. The young man thought to himself, my model's classification might be different, but that means... Dihoa let out a soft chuckle, a smile full of hidden meaning and unpredictability. Then his eyes flashed with intense determination mixed with extreme excitement as he looked down at his own hands. As long as I meet the conditions, I can have infinite monster model draws, he continued to mumble. Doesn't that mean I'll become the king of monsters? The next morning at Ancheng No. 1 High School. It was a beautiful sunny day. In the teacher's office, a stern-looking teacher was taking a big sip of coffee. He turned to look at the student standing before him with a scrutinizing gaze. What you want to request a leave of absence to go home and study on your own, only returning to school for the college entrance exams. Dihoa stood straight, his feet spread apart and fists clenched, showing clear excitement and determination. Sir, I really truly want to improve. I know I'm lacking a lot of knowledge. If I don't have a special training regimen, keeping up with everyone else will be nearly impossible. The teacher looked at Dihoa with a stern gaze, his tone realistic and somewhat cautionary. Dihoa, you have to understand that if you want to become a true martial artist, the only path right now is to get into a martial arts university. I know you just awakened your bloodline, but your foundation is too weak. It's practically non-existent. Getting into a university this year is a fantasy. My sincere advice is to prepare yourself to retake the exam next year. Don't be so hasty. Dihoa stood there. Faced with his teacher's skepticism and rather harsh advice, he couldn't hold back the determination in his heart. He immediately used his ultimate skill, sincere pleading. His eyes shimmered, filled with earnestness and intense hope. Sir, the harder it is, the more urgently I need to improve. You probably don't fully understand my potential. I've awakened an extremely powerful bloodline. Just give me the chance to train hard and I will definitely succeed. Please look into my sincere eyes. I am absolutely not lying. Dihoa's slightly over-the-top but sincere reaction made the teacher's heart soften. That look in his eyes is indeed very sincere. Well, I can't bring myself to make things harder for him. All right, fine. But you better remember this. You have to come back next year and sign up for my review class. Scene change, Ancheng Martial Arts Center. Dihoa wandered alone on the wide, bustling streets of the city center. As he walked, he was busy calculating in his head. The house his parents left behind was mortgaged for $600,000 plus the accident compensation of over $1 million more. I have a considerable amount of capital now. To get stronger quickly, there are two main paths. One is to upgrade my martial artist realm, and the second is to increase the compatibility with Demolock. Recalling the information that had just flashed on the system panel, Dihoa was lost in thought, his mind completely detached from the world around him. According to the data from the Infinite Monster model, each initial model only has a 1% base compatibility rate, but my Rampage Demolock started at 3%. Where did that extra 2% come from, he wondered. There was only one logical explanation. The Demolock model must have absorbed the residual medicinal power from the Gene Awakening Potion, granting an additional 2% compatibility. This discovery was a revelation to Dihoa. This proves that the common gene potions in this world can enhance the abilities of my monster model, he thought to himself. Compared to the slow grind of martial arts training, the path of paying to upgrade compatibility seems much more suitable for me. Having found a shortcut to get stronger quickly, Dihoa couldn't help but get excited. I need to buy some gene-enhancing potions right away. Entering the martial arts center, Dihoa swiped his student card through the security gate. In that exact moment, a strange sensation washed over him. His eyes widened, his face a mask of utter shock. Through his special vision, Dihoa noticed that everyone around him was enveloped in their own distinct energy aura, clearly reflecting their awakened abilities. And most of the people here possessed powerful auras, a clear sign that they were martial artists with superior abilities. Unable to suppress his surprise, Dihoa exclaimed, "Is this place filled with martial artists who have awakened their bloodlines?" After awakening the Rampage Demolock model, Dihoa discovered he possessed a special sensory ability. The life field of Demolock could amplify his perception of signals from the living creatures around him. He could clearly feel the blood boiling in their bodies and even hear the primordial growls of the beasts, latent within the bloodlines of these martial artists. Instantly, an intense feeling of excitement surged in Dihoa's chest. A spiritual light flashed in his eyes. Martial artists, beasts. I can't hold back this boiling desire to fight. He chuckled, his voice a mix of confidence and arrogance. After all, Rampage Demolock is the king of monsters in this world. A king born to conquer every creature on this planet. Unable to contain his emotions, Dihoa almost wanted to shout. Unfortunately, I'm still too weak right now. I can only temporarily have Lord Demolock bear with it for a little while. When I grow stronger, I'll show this whole world what a true king of monsters looks like. As he was lost in his ambitious plans for the future, a hand suddenly tapped gently on Dai's shoulder. Ho's shoulder from behind. Hey, You shouldn't just stare at people like that, little one. Dihua jumped and turned around. Realizing the misunderstanding, the young man explained awkwardly. Sorry, miss, I didn't mean to. The older girl seemed pretty relaxed, waving her hand. It's all right. You must have just awakened your beast bloodline and can't control your powers well yet, right? What did you come to the martial arts center for? Dihua replied immediately. I came to buy gene potions. But this place is so big I can't find the sales counter, pretty lady. Could you please show me the way? The lady was very enthusiastic. Buying gene potions, huh? You already need to use them at this stage. Dihua asked blankly. Is there something special I should know? It's nothing major. It's just that gene potions are both expensive and can easily cause drug resistance. The effectiveness decreases with each use. To get the best results, martial artists usually wait until their bloodline reaches its natural limit before starting to use them. Still a bit confused, Dihua asked, So, miss, about how much does one vial of gene potion cost? The stylish girl held up 4 slender fingers and answered enthusiastically, At your current stage, you can only use the primary consolidation potion. It's about 400,000 for one vial. Hearing that number, Dihua felt like he could die on the spot. His face fell. That's ridiculously expensive. All my savings aren't even enough to buy 5 of them. He asked sheepishly, Miss, do you know anyone who could help me get a discount? After a moment of thought, the girl gently bent over, took a business card from her bag, and handed it to him. Although the gesture was very gentle, it caused the 2 large mounds on her chest to incessantly jiggle. All right, here, take my business card. Huang Liangli, a 4th-rank martial artist. If you have a referral, you'll get a small discount. Hearing this, Dihua was overjoyed and immediately took the business card. His eyes sparkled with joy. He waved happily. Thank you so much, miss. The girl smiled back. You're welcome. See you around. Right after their conversation ended, Dihua got straight to work. He prepared to enter the money-burning battle at the specialty stores for martial artists. At the cashier counter of the Gene Pharmacy, he paid 1,450,000 dong. Then at the weapons shop, he paid another 250,000 dong. Just like that, Dihua went on a wild spending spree. In a flash, the sky had turned dark. Scene changed to Dihua's apartment complex. The young man sat with his full concentration even though pain and discomfort spread throughout his body. But Dihua gritted his teeth and endured, fervently absorbing the power from the expensive gene potions. The system announced continuously, Monster Model Rampage Demolock, Compatibility Rate, 3% to 4%, 4% to 7%, Composite Physique 8 to 10, 10 to 15, 7th Stage Martial Disciple. After a long period of enduring the torment of the potion absorption process, Dihua was nearly exhausted. He stretched out his arms, drenched in sweat, his mouth gasping. This feeling of leveling up is amazing, although the first few potions only strengthened my physique by 2 points, but the last one only increased it by 1. Getting stronger from this point on is going to be harder and harder. Strengthening myself may be difficult, but it's fine. Just 10 minutes of training with potions is equivalent to 3 years of grueling practice, and this is just my normal physical strength. If I activate my Imperial bloodline too, I'll have a chance to take the top spot in this year's college entrance exams. The young man, filled with determination, shouted, Let's go, entering the Secret Realm Rift. Secret realms are divided into ranks from S, the highest and most dangerous, to E, the lowest and safest. The higher the rank, the stronger and more ferocious the demonic beasts inside. The demonic beasts in an S-rank secret realm are existences that humans currently cannot control. If one of them were to invade the real world, it would be an apocalyptic disaster. Cut to Secret Realm number 3, Ancheng City E-rank. Fully equipped with weapons and armor, Dihua stepped into the entrance area of the E-rank secret realm. He observed his surroundings for a moment and then mumbled, There are fewer people here than I thought. Probably because this secret realm was explored a long time ago. Most of the treasures have been taken, leaving only weak demonic beasts for rookies like me to practice on. The young man walked along the path and came across a small registration counter. Hello, I booked a ticket for Secret Realm number 3. The woman in charge of this task didn't seem to care much. She listlessly handed the papers to Dihua. Sign this death waiver. Here's your ticket. The spatial gate leading into the secret realm appeared before Dihua's eyes. An unstable vortex of energy emanated an ancient and dangerous aura. So this is a secret realm rift? This is my starting point to becoming the king of monsters. Without any hesitation, he got a running start and plunged straight into the spatial vortex, his heart filled with anticipation and excitement. Here I come. As soon as he jumped into the secret realm rift, the familiar three-dimensional world instantly vanished. It felt as if he had just passed through a different layer of space into a completely new world. Very quickly, Dihoa landed safely on the ground. By natural reflex, he placed a hand on the ground and knelt on one knee, an extremely practiced move. From his current position within the secret realm, he could clearly see other planets hanging in the strangely colored sky. Kanglan planet, Anhui planet, Taijin planet, all of them created a scene completely different from Earth's sky. Dihoa hurriedly adjusted his equipment. He looked around with a look of astonishment. Even though he had studied this in books, nothing could compare to witnessing this sight with his own eyes. This is so magnificent I can even see the starry sky. The young man was still lost in his thoughts. He was unaware that something was sneaking up behind him. It was a Tier 1 demonic beast, the Blade Fang Rabbit. The moment it bared its teeth, it charged straight towards Dihoa. He immediately spun around and grabbed it by the neck. "That'll teach you for trying to sneak up on me, you idiot. Did you really think I couldn't sense you?" Just like that, he crushed it with his bare hands, completely obliterating it. All that was left in Dihoa's hand was a small, sparkling crystal. He picked it up and examined it closely. The demon core of a Blade Fang Rabbit. Normal quality? Its market value is about 1,000 win. I earned 1,000 right after getting in. Seems the efficiency isn't too bad. A commoner works hard all year and only makes 3,000 to 4,000. Dihoa's mood became very relaxed. He held the crystal up high to admire it. But collecting too many Tier 1 demon cores isn't very useful. It's best to focus on hunting Tier 2 demonic beasts and above. But just then, behind him, an unusual movement underground made him jump and turn around. A giant, soft-bodied monster emerged. It writhed like a mutated earthworm. Its slimy body was hundreds of times larger than Dihoa. It was a Tier 2 demonic beast, the demonic guardian worm. The more new and powerful beasts he encountered, the more excited Dihoa became. He quickly drew the short blade from his hip, the corner of his mouth curling into a challenging smile. Just what I was hoping for. This is perfect. At the E-rank secret realm number 3 in Ancheng, where Dihoa was beginning his quest for domination. Faced with the appearance of the Tier 2 demonic guardian worm, he didn't flinch at all. With just one powerful and precise slash, he created a deep wound on the monster's body. The worm shrieked in pain, and green ichor splattered everywhere like rain. In a defensive stance, Dihoa glanced at the monster, mentally analyzing it. He recalled what he had seen in the demonic beast library. Compared to the hard armor on its back, this worm's soft belly is clearly its most vulnerable point. Struck and in agony, the monster began to curl its body into a ball like a giant wheel. Then it charged forward with terrifying speed, intending to crush Dihoa with this fierce counterattack. Dihoa remained calm. He raised both hands in front of him, channeling all the energy in his body and muttering a martial arts incantation. Immediately, a powerful aura shot from Dihoa's palms, straight at the charging Tier 2 demonic guardian worm. It opened its grotesque mouth and fired a series of large, sharp teeth which spun continuously like flying saw blades. They shot towards Dihoa with dizzying speed like a mobile guillotine. If he got hit by this attack, he would definitely be cut in half. The young man looked quite surprised. It can even shoot its teeth to attack. After an incredibly clumsy dodge, Dihoa's damn shirt ripped. The young man, furious, nearly went berserk, roaring and cursing, "You damn mutated monster. Do you have any idea how much this shirt cost?" Dihoa kept a safe distance, his mind rapidly analyzing the current situation. Facing this worm head-on is no small challenge. After all, without the help of my bloodline. No matter how strong my internal martial energy is, it's hard for me to use my full power. It's all because of that lazy original owner. His martial arts foundation is too weak. Now I have no choice but to use my cheats. After making that decision, Ihi's eyes flew open, the power in his entire body pushed to its absolute limit as a powerful energy erupted from him. He roared, "Tyrant Demon Bloodline, activate!" Instantly, Yihi's right arm began to transform. Covered in the hard scales and sharp claws of the Tyrant Demon, a second later, Yihei dashed forward with incredible speed, unleashing a flurry of terrifying slashes across the monster's body. Its green goo splattered everywhere again like rain. Just like that, Yihei had swiftly dealt with the Tier 2 monster. He turned, wiping his sweat, and thought to himself, "After my physique score shot up to 21, dealing with this Tier 2 corpse bug was a piece of cake, just as I expected." He began to deactivate his transformation state. He needed to disperse the accumulated thermal energy inside his body. The sensation made him feel like a jet engine. Looking back at his weapon, he saw the dagger was badly damaged. Yihei picked it up and said in frustration, "I just bought this dagger and it's already been corroded by the corpse bug's toxins. 2.5 million for equipment of such poor quality. It's basically useless against a Tier 2 demonic beast. I have to go report this shop." Yihei's empty stomach rumbled continuously. He rubbed his belly and muttered, "Hunting demonic beasts for the first time really takes a lot of stamina. I'm starving and I forgot to bring any rations." Suddenly, amidst his gnawing hunger, a strange, fragrant scent wafted into Yihei's nose. His mouth began to water as he sniffed the air with his large nose, trying to pinpoint the source of the aroma. Just then, Yihei realized the scent was coming from the mana core that had just dropped from the corpse of the Tier 2 corpse bug. He picked up the mana core, held it up to his face, and muttered, "It's a mana core. The corpse bug's mana core. And it smells pretty tempting." Thinking for a moment, Yihei opened his mouth wide and tossed the green mana core straight in. "Whatever, let's give it a try!" He swallowed it in one gulp. As soon as the mana core hit his stomach, it released a brilliant spiritual power that spread throughout his body, taking immediate effect. The system panel appeared with a notification, Tyrant Demon Model Compatibility 7%. It then updated to 7.3%. A much stronger aura burst from Yihei's entire body. He glowed as if he'd just swallowed a flashlight. He said in amazement, It even increased my compatibility." A look of pure joy instantly appeared on his face. He clenched his teeth, his eyes shining with excitement. Awesome, spending hundreds of thousands on a gene potion only increases compatibility by 1%. But just eating this one green mana core increased it by 0.3%. That means 3 or 4 of these are equal to one gene potion. Then that means the white mana core from that blade rabbit earlier must have been worth at least 1% compatibility. At this thought, Yihei felt like he was about to cry from the emotion of it all. 2 streams of tears born of financial regret streamed down his cheeks. Damn it, my money, all that money. He quickly regained his composure, pointed a finger to his forehead, and said, "Channel the pain into motivation." He declared heroically, "He will hunt to my heart's content tonight." Within minutes, an invisible but powerful shockwave emanated from him, sweeping across a vast area of the forest. It was just like a radar pulse. He shouted, "Activate biofield." It wasn't until noon the next day that Yihei finally left the E-rank secret realm. His system reported the results. Tyrant Demon Model Compatibility 9%, Composite Physique 15.8. As Yihei casually walked out of the space gate, he thought, after my compatibility reached 9%, eating any more white mana cores won't increase it further. Now I can only sell them for cash. A short while later, at the exchange counter in front of the secret realm's gate, Yihei poured out a pile of glittering mana cores, a total of 20 white mana cores and 4 green ones. The person in charge of the counter saw this amount. He was completely stunned. He's clearly just a high school student. How could he possibly get this many mana cores? The other people in line behind him were also amazed by Yihei's haul, looking on with a hint of awe. Yihei stood at the counter and said to the staff, "According to government regulations, martial artists have to hand over a portion of their harvest. I'll take back 1 green mana core and turn in 5 white ones." He calculated in his head, "That's 200,000 yen in my pocket." Scene change to in City D rank Secret Realm number 4. This place is a desolate, ruined area. At its center is an old, half-collapsed building. Right next to the building is a spatial rift. It's much larger than the one in the E-rank Secret Realm, forming a frightening blue vortex of energy, the entrance to the D-rank Secret Realm. It's a beautiful sunny day. Nearby, a brand-new gleaming convertible sports car is parked. A man in a blue shirt and sunglasses sits in the driver's seat and calls out, "Captain Lin, we have to complete the mission this time. The bounty for the Blood Jade Flower." "Right, Lin He," a Tier 2 martial artist replied. "Last time we went in, we already determined the basic location of the Blood Jade Flower. But unfortunately, Old Chen was seriously injured by a demonic beast, so he can't enter the secret realm with us this time." A woman in the team crossed her arms, looking concerned, and asked, "So our team only has 5 people now?" Following that, another man with a buzz cut also spoke up. "That's right. But according to the rules, a squad needs at least 6 people to enter a D-rank secret realm." Lin He turned around and replied confidently, "Don't worry, I've already contacted a broker. They introduced a new expert to us." He pointed towards a figure slowly approaching, dressed in somewhat shabby clothes. "He doesn't look like an expert at all." This young man was none other than Yihei. Everyone on the team looked skeptical. One person asked, "Are you Dizia, the ninth Dan Marshall disciple?" He, looking a bit sloppy, picked his nose while giving a cheeky grin and replied, "That's right." But inside, he thought, "Because I'm just a student and don't have the official qualifications to enter a D-rank secret realm, I had no choice but to go to the black market and spend 100,000 to fake an identity and join a team. So expensive. Man, my bad luck is really following me all the way here." Lin Hei frowned slightly, his expression a little concerned as he looked at the alias Yi He had chosen, Dizia. This name, well, it doesn't sound very good, Lin Hei thought. But Yi He just shrugged, feigning helplessness. "Can't be helped. Just read it, Captain." With that, Yi He acted as if he couldn't care less about the name. Lin He cleared his throat and said clearly, "All right then, whatever. After all, it's just an alias. And with your current 9th-level martial artist ranking, you don't even qualify to enter a secret realm of this level. But our squad decided to give you a chance to come along, observe, and gain experience. In return, you are absolutely forbidden from getting in our way. Is that clear?" Dizia replied curtly with a nonchalant whatever attitude. He thought to himself, a team leader's responsibility is to explain everything clearly and thoroughly before a mission begins. He seems quite reliable. Unlike those who just panic when something happens. Everything has been properly arranged. Dizia and the other squad members quickly boarded the all-terrain vehicle. "All right, let's move out. This time we must find the blood jade flower." Just a moment later, the team passed through a spatial gate, setting foot on a strange planet. The ground that appeared before them was desolate and barren with no sign of green trees. Team leader Lam Ha looked at his locator and announced, "The blood jade flower is in the oasis up ahead. Be careful. There's a second-tier demon beast with a powerful bloodline guarding it." Dizia sat in the vehicle, resting his chin on his hand, his gaze distant as he looked out the window. Last time it was a rainforest, now it's a desert. These secret realms really do connect to very different worlds. Just as the vehicle drove deeper, a pack of beasts resembling starved wild wolves with earth-colored fur suddenly rushed out from both sides, chasing after the vehicle. A squad member in the back was on high alert. He immediately reported, "Captain, it's a pack of earth demon rats. They're closing in fast, and we're the target." Lam Ha remained calm and gave a decisive order, "Hoduk, take care of them." Hoduk acted instantly. He brought his hands up to his chest, and in the blink of an eye, sharp, short blades appeared on the back of his hands. Hoduk swung his arms forcefully behind him. The daggers, filled with spiritual energy, shot out like lightning, embedding themselves straight into the heads of the earth demon rats, causing them to explode on impact. The spiritual energy detonated on contact, blowing the rats' heads to pieces. Blood and flesh splattered everywhere. Their agonizing screeches echoed across the desolate desert, but Dizia's group's vehicle continued onward at full speed. Hoduk sat back down, retracting his hands without any change in expression. He reported curtly, "Problem solved." Dizia glanced at his teammates, silently assessing him. Specializes in bladed weapons and throwing knives. He turns them into mini-bombs on contact, fast and clean. That skill is really potent. The vehicle continued its journey, after a while from a distance. Signs of a lush green jungle began to appear, a complete contrast to the desert they had just crossed. The sky on this planet was strange. You could clearly see many other planets floating in the air, unlike the sky on Earth. Once they confirmed they were near the target, the team decided to stop the vehicle. Everyone disembarked quickly, weapons at the ready. Ready to enter the danger zone. Dizia trailed behind his face, still showing a hint of nonchalance and fatigue from the journey. He asked the captain curiously, "Why don't we just drive right in?" Lam Ha, leading the way, explained as they walked. "We're still a ways from the oasis and the demon beast inside. It's extremely sensitive to sound. The engine noise from the ATV would easily attract its attention. We'll assign specific tasks as we go. Xiaoxia in a bit. You use a scent bomb to lure the demon beast out of its hiding spot. Xiao Yu Hoduk, you two set up traps. Old Lu, you'll provide suppressing fire. I'll be in charge of the frontal assault. As for you, Dizia, just stay on the perimeter and observe, that's all." "Such an easy mission." Dizia pouted and replied mindlessly, "Okie dokie." After the battle plan was clearly laid out, Dizia's group fired a special signal flare into the sky. Boom, boom, boom! The explosions echoed throughout the area, followed by a cloud of white smoke that spread quickly, carrying a special active agent. It was a bomb containing the pheromones of a high-level monster. It was designed to agitate other demon beasts, making them think their territory had been invaded and causing them to pursue the aggressor. The effect was almost instantaneous. The ground began to tremble slightly. A second-tier demon beast, an earth dragon, appeared. Its body resembled a dinosaur's but was covered in scales capable of storing electricity. It rose up, its massive frame exuding power. Its mouth opened wide, dripping with saliva, and it let out a roar as if wanting to tear apart any creature that dared to approach. "It's here, everyone, be careful," Xiaoxia warned. Meanwhile, at another location where Dizia's group had just wiped out the pack of earth demon rats, a few throwing daggers remained stuck in the sand. From a distance, a tall figure in a black cloak that concealed their face approached silently. On this stranger's arm were two long, crisscrossing scars that looked incredibly fierce. He bent down and picked up one of Hoduk's blood-stained daggers. As the strange figure gradually emerged from behind the cloud of sand, it was revealed to be a bald old man wearing a cool-looking pair of sunglasses, yet he carried an unsettling air about him. The old man stuck out his long tongue and gave the blade of the dagger he just picked up a perverted lick. His eyes were filled with murderous intent and a crazed bloodlust as he let out a savage laugh. "Ha ha ha!" Back at the battle, the newly appeared Earth Dragon had already sensed the danger. Just as the giant beast was about to display its frenzied power, Lam Ha struck before it could do anything else. He shot forward like an arrow, the sword in his hand swinging in a cold, sharp arc. With a single blow, the demon beast's head flew off its neck and fell to the ground with a thud. The massive monster's corpse crashed down, green blood gushing out instantly. Xiaoxia, the only girl on the team, ran over breathlessly to report, "Captain Lam, the rear has been dealt with as well. We finally did it." Standing before the enormous corpse he had just felled, Lam Ha majestically rested his sword on his shoulder, the corner of his mouth curling up in a confident smirk. "Excellent. Now let's go find that blood jade flower." But in that very moment, disaster struck unexpectedly from behind him. A sharp-clawed leg sliced through the air, rushing toward him like a phantom. A terrified scream rang out. Lam Ha whipped around reflexively. Right in that hair-raising instant, a figure shot forward like a bolt of lightning. It was Dizia who had appeared out of nowhere. He was right above the captain. Before anyone could understand what he was about to do, boom! A heaven-sent punch rained down, accompanied by a terrifying surge of spiritual energy like lightning striking the earth. The ground shook and a thick cloud of dust billowed up. When the dust settled, Lam Ha was still standing there completely unharmed, but his face had gone pale with utter shock. He turned to look at Dizia, unable to believe his eyes. Aren't you just a first-tier martial apprentice? And yet, you have the power to send a second-tier demon beast flying." Xiaoxia's eyes also widened in astonishment. That punch was terrifyingly strong. Instantly, Dizia became the center of his teammates' attention. With endless gasps of admiration, their eyes filled with awe. "That Lan Sun Fist of yours is seriously powerful. You took down a Tier 2 demonic beast just like that." At this moment, Dihua just casually dusted off his hands and replied coolly, "It was nothing." Captain Lam Ha walked over, his eyes sparkling with satisfaction. "Thank you for saving me. From this moment on, you are officially a member of our team." A moment later, Lam Ha found what they were waiting for, a small, dark red fruit shaped like a heart. He held it up and cheered, "I found it! It's the blood jade fruit." Xiao Yu curiously poked at it. "We even got the Earth Dragon's essence core this time. Not a bad haul at all." Xiao Ha looked at the bright red fruit and wondered softly, "Is this little round red thing really that valuable?" Dihua alone stood back, thinking to himself, "I believe it's also known by the noble name Saintess Fruit." Lam Ha explained clearly, "Of course it is. This thing can significantly increase one's compatibility with a martial arts gene template." Even though there were some surprises this time, we ultimately defeated the Earth Dragon and got the blood jade fruit without a hitch. Just as Lam Ha finished his sentence, a sickening thud echoed. Huda, the one who was always silent and walking behind Lam Ha, suddenly drew a knife and delivered a fatal stab from behind. A gleeful smile spread across his face, his voice filled with smug satisfaction. Hey, it's not that simple, Captain Lam." The sudden scene left the entire team stunned silent for a few seconds. "Captain Lam, what's happening?" Lam Ha immediately whipped his head around and tried to fight back with his hands. "Huda, what the hell are you doing?" Huda was already prepared. He quickly dodged and retreated a few steps. Just then, a strange figure emerged from behind them. It was the bald old man who had picked up the dagger earlier. The old man smiled sinisterly. "What are we doing? You still haven't figured it out?" "We're doing something that makes a lot of money, of course." The moment they saw the newcomer, they were utterly shocked. Huo Bang, why are you here? Xiao Yu clenched his fist so tightly his face flushed red, his glare hot enough to burn the two traitors to a crisp. Dihoa tilted his head and asked, "You guys know this bald dude?" Xiao Yu spat out every word, his eyes filled with hatred. Huo Bang! He's a notorious robber who lurks around and steals the loot that other martial artists work their butts off to find in the secret realms. That bastard. So he was targeting us from the very beginning. As for Captain Lam Ha, he could barely stand. He clutched his bleeding wound, gasping for breath as he roared, "There's poison on the blade! Who? You traitor! How did you know we would be here?" The exact location of the blood jade fruit was only confirmed after we entered the secret realm. Dihoa quietly observed the entire scene, his mind starting to connect the clues. The image of when they first entered the secret realm flashed back to him when Hude dealt with the demonic earth rats using his darts. He suddenly understood, muttering to himself, he intentionally threw that dart far away, to signal his accomplice. At this point, Hude no longer bothered to pretend. He completely dropped the act, gripping the hilt of his knife, his expression as ferocious as a demon's. "Ha, you're surprisingly sharp. Aren't you just some student martial artist? Your university entrance exams must be coming up, huh? Instead of staying home to study, you wanted to come out here for a little meeting with the Grim Reaper." Dihoa tilted his head, his voice calm. "That's right, the exams are coming up. And the valedictorian spot is waiting for me to claim it." Hearing this, Hude roared in a fury like a madman and hurled his dagger at Dihoa. Dihoa calmly raised two fingers and caught the blade in midair. The movement was so fast and clean that no one even had time to blink. His eyes were as sharp as a sword. "The one barking nonsense in front of me. Asterisk you, re-asterisk the one who's truly doomed." Not wasting the opportunity, Dihoa clenched his fist. Blazing spirit energy erupted like a wrathful flame enveloping his arm. His face became chillingly cold. "You're truly filthy. Time to take out the trash." Seeing this, the bald man Huo Bang could no longer sit still. He gritted his teeth veins, popping on his forehead, and roared in fury, "Well, you're an interesting one, aren't you? Hude, I want his head." Receiving the order, Hude didn't hesitate for a second. He unleashed all his spirit energy, executing his most vicious ultimate technique. Countless daggers shot out like rain. The metal was so dense and fast, it seemed impossible to escape. The entire space around Dihoa was enveloped in sharp blades, facing the downpour. Of daggers storming from the traitor, Dihoa merely crouched down slightly. Instantly, an invisible circle of protective energy materialized around him. Every dagger that flew towards him was crushed to dust upon touching the barrier. Dihoa tensed his body and let out a great shout as the rain of daggers ended. The protective circle around him vanished. Hude was gone. Someone yelled a warning, "Watch out above you." Instantly, Dihoa raised two fingers and pointed them directly at the spot between his own eyebrows. A powerful stream of spirit energy spread out from him. His eyes began to glow strangely as he muttered, "Perfect timing to test out the skill I just learned." Just a moment later, Dihoa raised his hand high and aimed it straight at the chest of the charging Hude, activating tenfold Earth Core energy. Hude took the full force of the fatal blow. Lam Ha could only watch frozen stiff. One move. He finished Hude in just one move. Is he really just a high school martial arts student? Dihoa gently blew on the fingertips he had just used, making a gesture like a smoking gun. Behind him, Hude fell with a thud onto the sand, face down with no signs of life left. In the distance, Huo Bang stood, frozen, his face a mask of bewilderment and fear. Though he tried to maintain a tough facade, he stammered, "Gene technique. You're a descendant of one of the great clans." Dihoa leisurely stood up straight, stuffing both hands into his pockets, radiating an unmistakable aura of cool. "Clan, I'm from the Dimalap clan. What about it? You want to kneel down and beg for your life?" Right behind him, the faint, majestic mirage of a giant beast appeared and then vanished. Hearing that taunt, Huo Bang's face turned purple with rage as he roared in a fit of fury, unleashing his full power. "Kiddo, even if you have a gene technique, you can't make up for the difference in our martial arts levels." Instantly, Huo Bang's body began to transform, letting out a roar that thundered like lightning. His muscles bulged and swelled, and thick fur sprouted all over. In the blink of an eye, he had transformed into a ferocious giant black bear. Behind him was his true bear beast form, its mouth wide open, revealing a set of sharp teeth. Without hesitation, Huo Bang in his giant bear form charged straight at Yi Huo, activating his mountain shaker skill. Yi Huo remained relaxed, first attacking his lower body. Immediately after, he used his familiar finger-pointing move, shooting a blast of spirit energy from below, aiming straight for the leg. My leg, Huobang screamed in pain. He knew he couldn't defeat Yi Huo that way. He changed tactics, crouching low to the ground. He used his two giant bare hands to sweep across, intending to grab his opponent, but Yi Huo was as fast as lightning, leaping into the air to dodge, effortlessly. Not to be outdone, Huobang also jumped up after him, determined not to let his prey escape his reach. A second-stage warrior is truly something else. Even though Yi Huo had unleashed a powerful atomic breath attack, he still had to admit that it wasn't enough to completely melt that giant ankle. The two massive paws lunged forward now just inches away from him. The killing intent in Huobang's eyes surged. It was clear he intended to crush his opponent without mercy. A loud boom echoed as the two bear paws clapped together, creating a shockwave that kicked up all the surrounding dust. But he missed. In that instant, Yi Huo had vanished from his original position. Not only did he dodge, but he also used that moment to teleport behind Huobang, his hand already charged with spirit energy. "Ready to strike! Are you done yet? Now it's my turn." Yi Huo clenched his fist, his whole body erupting with power. A torrent of spirit energy blazing like fire enveloped him as his power surged to its peak. Yi Huo no longer hesitated and immediately attacked. After being hit by the palm strike, Huobang's massive body reverted to its human form covered in scorched bruises. Yi Huo's two hands were still steaming slightly. Those who had once looked down on him could now only stare in wide-eyed astonishment. No one could have imagined that the weak high school student they thought he was would possess such terrifying power, so strong. But Huobang still didn't know fear. With a bruised face and a body full of injuries, he stubbornly pushed himself up, his voice filled with resentment. You dare mix poisonous gas into your gene technique. You're a coward. A wicked warrior like you will definitely be punished, I curse you." He had clearly misunderstood the nature of Yi Huo's power, and that curse was the last straw. Yi Huo's eyes flew open, a brilliant red light flashing within his pupils. He clenched his fists, his voice low and chilling to the bone. "Many have wished to curse me. Who the hell do you think you are?" At the Ancheng Central Stadium, the biggest university recruitment event of the year was underway. To celebrate this event, the state had mobilized a whole squadron of performance aircrafts. Banners and flags fluttered everywhere. A passionate voice boomed from the speaker system. "Welcome everyone to the annual Advanced Warrior Selection. I have just one thing to say, may your martial path be glorious." The man holding the mic was a handsome and dapper male MC standing before the live cameras. Behind him, the stands were packed with people and a fervent atmosphere spread throughout the stadium. This year, the exam will take the form of direct one-on-one combat in the arena. Contestants will be randomly matched for a single elimination tournament. Win and you move on, lose and you're out. The exam lasts for 3 days. The first 2 days are the preliminary rounds where each contestant must overcome 3 grueling matches. Those who remain will enter the decisive third day to compete for the single top scorer position. You all carry the future of humanity on your shoulders, for yourselves and for all of humankind. Show us what you're truly made of. I declare the Ancheng University entrance examination officially open. As soon as the resounding declaration ended, the entire stadium erupted. The clang of impacts and roars of battle echoed from 4 arenas simultaneously. In the first few arenas, the female contestants were in no way inferior to the men, making the atmosphere even more breathtaking. However, an unexpected development caused thousands of eyes to turn towards arena number 6 at the same time. Arena number 6. It seems like something's happened. The MC looked at the screen in confusion, his hands quickly working to check. Let me take a look. The 2 contestants are Wang Tongtong and Yi Huo, both from Ancheng No. 1 High School. But currently, only contestant Wang Tongtong is in the arena. In the arena, Wang Tongtong held her head high with a smug look. Seeing that Yi Huo hadn't appeared, she immediately broke into a contemptuous smile. To dare embarrass me at such a momentous recruitment event, he's truly shameless. Below the stage, murmurs began to rise, growing more intense. He's probably so scared he's hiding at home. Too afraid to show his face, right? Ha. Why even bother going to school if you're such a coward? A waste of food, that type of person. He doesn't even deserve to be in high school. Just send him out to sweep the streets. The waiting time was running out. Finally, the referee blew a long whistle and declared loudly, "Contestant Yi Huo of Ancheng No. 1 High School has..." Before he could finish his sentence, everyone simultaneously looked up at the sky. A brilliant streak of light tore through the sky, trailing billowing black smoke as it shot straight down towards Arena number 6 like a falling meteor. What is that thing, or is it a person? Only when the light got closer did they realize it was Yi Huo. After a loud crash, a massive wave of spirit energy slammed down right in front of Wang Tongtong. It made her stagger, forcing her to brace herself just to keep from being blown away. As the thick dust cloud from the terrifying landing began to settle, Wang Tongtong lifted her head. Her vision blurred, unable to make out anything clearly in front of her. She mumbled, her voice trembling, What kind of trick is this? But before she could compose herself, a shadowy figure lunged at a horrifying speed, and in a split second, Yi Huo's entire foot was pressed against Tongtong's face. It sent her flying backward like a puppet with its strings cut, collapsing in a heap on the arena floor. He raised a hand to shield his eyes from the sun, squinting at the opponent he had just kicked away, letting out a sigh of relief and muttering, Phew, that was close. I almost had to wait until next year for this. As for Wang Tongtong, who just a minute ago had been so triumphant she was now collapsed on the arena floor, her entire body in so much pain she couldn't move even a single finger. The referee's voice, hesitant, as if he couldn't believe the result, echoed through the speakers, Contestant Yi Huo is the winner. Yi Huo clicked his tongue, looking a bit disappointed. It's over already. I didn't even get to warm up. Was it really that easy? The reaction from the audience below erupted. They cheered and praised him endlessly. Oh my God, this Di Huo guy is terrifyingly strong. He took down his opponent with a single kick, so badass. And the way he landed on the stage was so cool, it's unreal. Could this be the legendary kick from the heavens? Right at that moment, the familiar system appeared in Di Huo's mind again, announcing host Di Huo. Overall physique 255. Monster template Berserk Emperor Demon Rat compatibility rate 20%. A mischievous expression appeared on his face. He smirked and thought to himself, Captain Lin, consider this my way of thanking you for the blood jade fruit. Thanks to it, my physique has been significantly strengthened, even if it took a little time to absorb. All right, next up, I've got a real show for all of you. A moment later, the bracket for the next matches was announced. Di Huo's next opponent was someone named Long Tao. The announcer's voice rang out again, the next match. Long Tao from Ancheng No. 4 High School versus Di Huo from Ancheng No. 1 High School. The result was predictable. With just one kick, Di Huo's powerful blow made Long Tao, a guy several times bigger and more muscular than him, cough up blood on the spot and collapse onto the arena floor. The announcer's voice rang out again with its familiar tone. Di Huo is the winner. Every time Di Huo won, the crowd below would erupt in excitement. Cheers echoed throughout the stadium. Di Huo, Di Huo. Every match, all it took was one incredibly decisive and powerful kick. He's basically one kick man, so awesome. Di Huo clenched his fists, feeling the power surging through his body. The announcer's voice finally rang out again. With the official commendation, congratulations to the student from Ancheng No. 1 High School, Di Huo, for winning all 3 preliminary matches in outstanding fashion. He officially advances to the next round. After 3 consecutive matches at lightning speed, Di Huo entered the rest area and was immediately swarmed by a crowd of rabid fans. His incredibly skillful fighting style had attracted a ton of attention, and a barrage of invitations rang out continuously. Di Huo, are you interested in learning a little about our Dongshan University? We have a lot of great perks. Hey, Di Huo, add me on Facebook. Hey, student, even though we're just a private university, our grants and scholarships are extremely generous. Just take a look, okay? Student Di Huo, our university is in dire need of powerful talents like you, Di Huo. Have you decided which university you want to apply to yet? Despite the many tempting offers awaiting him, Di Huo seemed to have already made his own decision. He glanced around the crowd, his determined gaze finally stopping on someone in the middle of it. His voice rang out clear and firm. My preferred university, you ask? Sorry, but my goal is to get into Huadu University. The moment those words left his mouth, the atmosphere changed instantly. The people who were so welcoming just moments before did a complete 180. Their gazes turned cold, and they began to make sarcastic, cutting remarks. Oh, you've only just made it to the regional finals, and you're already this arrogant. When you get knocked out and your dreams are shattered, you'll just come crawling back to us. Di Huo, if you fail to get into Huadu, remember to contact me, all right? We'll still have a spot for you then. The sudden change in attitude couldn't help but confuse Di Huo, even startling him a bit. He muttered, You've got to be kidding me. You guys really don't believe in me that much. But Di Huo couldn't blame them. Huadu University, the most prestigious martial artist school in the nation, was truly the mecca for all young martial artists. And yet at that moment, a strange smile appeared on Dihuo's face. He thought to himself, in a second-tier city like Ancheng, only those who top the exams even have the right to dream of getting into Huadu, but whatever. In this world of martial artists, strength is the only truth. You all just wait. When I win the championship, we'll see what you have to say then. As soon as he broke free from the crowd of recruiters, Dihuo was blocked by two serious-looking men in black suits. One of them presented an official ID, his tone both formal and pressuring. "Student Dihuo, please cooperate with us. We need to re-verify your martial artist level." Dihuo shrugged, unconcerned, and handed his student ID to the bald man for inspection. The man looked at the information on the card and exclaimed in shock, "A level 9 martial apprentice. How is that possible, student Dihuo? Your file says you were still a level 3 martial apprentice just half a month ago." Dihuo rested a hand on the bald man's shoulder and squinted, a look of annoyance on his face. "Oh, so I'm not allowed to improve that quickly in just a few short months? What are you guys accusing me of cheating?" The bald man didn't flinch and continued to question him. "After checking your schedule, we found that you frequently visited an E-rank secret realm. Why would you go to such a dangerous place? Right before this important exam." Faced with the difficult question, Dihuo suddenly transformed into an A-list Hollywood actor. He put on a pained expression, his gaze distant and his voice low and sorrowful, yet filled with resilience. "Excuse me, gentlemen, please allow me a moment to compose myself. Before my father passed away, he told me that to surpass the limits of humanity, one must stop being human. That's why I've been constantly training myself in the harshest secret realms. During one life-or-death battle, I suddenly broke the seal on the latent genes within my body. It might sound unbelievable, but it's the truth." Hearing Dihuo's dramatic explanation, the two inspection officers stood there stunned. Their faces went pale. Cold sweat beaded on their foreheads as they stammered, unable to believe what they'd just heard. "What did you say you broke the gene seal?" The two of them immediately dropped their serious demeanor and hastily turned to leave. They kept muttering, "No way, this is too absurd. We have to report this to our superiors immediately." Dihuo stood there, his eyes pensive as he watched their retreating figures. He bit his lip, a sense of irritation rising within him. He never expected to accidentally become the center of everyone's attention. What a pain. He pulled out his phone and started scrolling aimlessly. But all the news feeds were flooded with clips of families sending well wishes to their children participating in the exam. "Do your best, son. Sweetheart, just trying your best is enough. Old Wang, when you come back with first place, we'll throw a huge party." Leaning back in a chair in the rest area, Dihuo couldn't help but feel a little wistful and envious. He muttered to himself, "They're even doing live interviews with the contestants' parents, relatives, and friends." His gaze lingered for a moment, a hint of loneliness on his face. Dihuo pressed his lips together, feeling like he had no one to cheer him on. He saw himself as a poor orphan tossed about by the currents of life. However, he had no idea that in a hidden corner, someone was secretly watching him from afar, their eyes filled with hope, silently cheering him on. "Go, Dihuo, go." It was his homeroom teacher, the one who had allowed Dihuo to study from home. After a short break, the loudspeaker crackled to life again, signaling that it was Dihuo's turn to continue his journey. The first round of the knockout tournament. Now let's welcome the contestant from Antan number 1 High School, Dihuo. This time, he had to face a famous student from number 3 High School, Lahuyen. As soon as Lahuyen appeared, he immediately drew everyone's attention and the whispers from the stands. "Look, it's Lahuyen. I heard he's the top student at number 3 High. Lahuyen is a peak level 8 martial artist. He's no joke. I also heard he's awakened an extremely rare level 2 demonic beast bloodline. Both of his parents are famous martial artists. His opponent this time is definitely out of luck." Amidst the crowd's cheers and his opponent's arrogant expression, Dihuo remained indifferent, not seeming to care at all. He casually scratched his neck and said something that stunned Lahuyen. "You can go first." This challenge full of contempt was like a hard slap to Lahuyen's face, making him feel deeply humiliated. Lahuyen gritted his teeth, his voice low as a murderous aura radiated from him. "Ha, you don't know who I am, do you?" Faced with that furious aura, Dihuo just shrugged and replied in a tone so casual it was almost taunting. "Whether I know or not, does it really affect the outcome of the match?" Lahuyen completely lost control. He roared in anger, the spiritual energy inside him erupting so violently it seemed about to explode, causing the entire arena to tremble under the immense pressure. Ha ha! You're not wrong, but in the end I'll be the one who wins. The moment he finished speaking, he channeled all his strength into his right arm, his fist clenched, emitting an intense energy glow like a raging beast. La Huyen roared and charged straight ahead. I hope you're lucky enough not to die on the spot. In that instant, he activated his rare bloodline ability. His right arm transformed completely, becoming a massive pitch-black demonic beast arm covered in steel-hard scales and sharp claws. In a flash, that terrifying arm shot straight towards Dehoa's face, an attack meant to end the match instantly. But Dehoa wasn't scared. He didn't flinch at all. He calmly raised his hand, and with his bare hand caught the charging demonic fist. Dehoa's voice was a low growl, just loud enough for the two of them to hear, "Your power isn't half bad. But you're a long way from that old bald guy Huo Bing." With what seemed like a simple squeeze, he caused La Huyen so much pain that his face went white and cold sweat poured down. He trembled as if he were facing a true monster. "Ah! My hand!" he managed to cry out, his voice stammering in terror. Dehoa didn't miss the opportunity, raising his other arm. He gathered his strength and brought it down in a powerful chop like a sledgehammer. A terrifying force accompanied by a blinding stream of spiritual energy slammed down. La Huyen's entire body was smashed hard into the arena floor. The ground around him cracked like a spider web. Dehoa stood there with a cold, cruel, and arrogant smile, looking nothing like a contestant. And just like that, the referee announced, "Antan number 1's Dehoa wins." The murmurs from the crowd grew louder, and the spotlight was now entirely on Dehoa. It only took one move. And he defeated the seed player, La Huyen. Damn, La Huyen's aura was pretty strong. How'd he end up on the ground in a second? His strength is on a completely different level from the other contestants. The gap is just too wide. Dehoa, ever the nonchalant one, just stood there cleaning his ear as the girls in the crowd went wild. "He's so handsome, hubby, I want to have your babies." The entire stadium erupted. Even though he used his hand this time, it still only took one move. "He's too strong. He truly lives up to the name One Kickman Dehoa. I'm starting to become a fan. Dehoa will definitely make it to the finals." One after another, injured contestants were carried off the stage either crippled or unconscious. In a hidden corner of the arena, a student watched silently, his gaze fixed as if he had realized something. He muttered, full of doubt yet tinged with respect. "So that's Dehoa. As expected of the one I've got my eye on. I will definitely defeat you in the final match." Meanwhile, in the special surveillance room of the Dehoa Admissions Committee, Dehoa's explosive performance had caught the attention of several important figures. An authoritative man pointed at the screen. His loud, cold voice echoed, "Within half an hour, I want his entire file." Immediately, his subordinates replied in unison, "Yes, sir," and acted without hesitation. At the same time, in another arena, the atmosphere was heating up by the minute. The MC enthusiastically yelled into the microphone, "The second match of the promotion round is about to begin." The center of attention in the stands are two beautiful and striking girls, so much so that the whole arena is buzzing. Damn, a battle between two genius beauties. You gotta keep your eyes peeled for this. One of them is the girl with long wavy hair and a fashionable short skirt. Tat Tio Lin, the queen of number 2 high school. Her crimson lips are curled into a disdainful smirk. She points directly at her opponent. "Miss Liu, I absolutely hate that robotic look on your face." Opposite her is the ice queen Liu Qingzhu from number 1 high school. In contrast to the provocation, she remains coldly silent, her eyes like a frozen lake. Down in the stands, the crowd is getting fired up. "I love watching beautiful girls fight, I'm drooling." "Shut up, you perverts." The referee's whistle blows sharply, signaling the start of the match. Qingzhu's silence only makes Thieu Lin's blood boil. Without hesitating for another second, she immediately lunges forward, unleashing a storm of kicks. "Fine! Let's see if you can keep that look on your face when I pin you to the ground." Qingzhu doesn't let herself be cornered. She calmly raises her hand, converting her energy into a shimmering circle of spirit power that appears before her. She shouts, "Liu family martial skill, profound binding seal." That layer of spirit energy swirls and shoots out, pressing down on Thieu Lin's attacking legs. A blinding light completely suppresses the force of her blows, even as Thieu Lin continuously leaps high into the air. Attacking with both hands and feet, Thieu Lin finds Qingzhu still calmly parrying her blows. During the spectacular mid-air battle, Thieu Lin's eyes flare with killing intent as she roars in anger. Get serious! However, it's clear Tiolin's attack isn't as effective as usual. The moment her hand touches Qingzhu's chest, her entire arm is instantly trapped in the circle of spirit energy. Caught off guard and restrained, Tiolin's face pales in horror. Inwardly, she screams, "Damn it, I fell for the trap!" Unable to pull her hand from the swirling energy, she completely loses the initiative. This is the golden opportunity to finish it. Qingzhu says nothing more, focusing all her spirit energy into a punch that erupts with brilliant light. The battle between the two girls not only leaves the audience breathless, but also makes the MC unable to contain his excitement. A Xuanhuang martial skill. For a college entrance exam candidate to have mastered a Xuanhuang martial skill, with talent like this, she doesn't even need to prove herself in the exams. She could get a special admission into Hua Duo right now. But Tiolin refuses to be overpowered. She immediately summons her beast form. Behind her, the true form of a ferocious tiger appears roaring madly as her body completely transforms. Sharp fangs and claws radiating the aura of a wild beast preparing to hunt. This girl has tamed a king-level bloodline, the third-tier Terror Phantom Tiger King. Before he could finish his sentence, the surroundings were in an uproar. King-level bloodlines are already difficult to control, let alone a ferocious beast like the Terror Phantom Tiger. This makes the true strength of that girl immediately become a huge question mark. No one dares to underestimate her. On the stage, while still holding the upper hand, Tiolin doesn't hesitate to provoke her opponent. "Show me your Nether Sparrow bloodline." But instead of a powerful response, Qingzhu just lets out a light sentence. "This is enough." That reply is the last straw, causing Tiolin to explode with rage. "This is enough! How dare you speak to me like that? Do you really think any martial artist out there can stand against me?" The stage instantly turns into a fierce battlefield. Tiolin throws a punch at her opponent's face, but Qingzhu easily dodges. Without stopping, Tiolin uses both her hind legs to lunge forward. Her sharp claws, enhanced with spirit energy, sweep straight towards her opponent's lower body. But just then, Qingzhu chants an incantation, raising her hand to her brow. Her eyes glow brightly as she shouts, "Primordial Jade Pool Finger." With a single point of her finger, a circle of spirit energy envelops Tiolin's sharp claws. The MC yells into the microphone, his voice a mix of excitement and tension. Liu Qingzhu's and Tat Tiolin's martial auras are clashing violently. The arena is filled with a cloud of dust. In the end, who will be left standing? The audience below is on the edge of their seats. Everyone tense their eyes glued to the thick smoke. As the dust gradually settles, a figure emerges. It's Tat Tiolin. She stands there, her hair fluttering, her expression firm but showing a hint of exhaustion. The excited MC shouts, "It's Tat Tiolin, she's still standing in the ring." But then his voice drops. "Wait a minute. Tiolin doesn't look right." Her eyes roll back, her face pale. She collapses like a broken doll falling to the floor. The only one still standing tall is Liu Qingzhu. The MC is stunned. Tat Tiolin has collapsed from exhaustion. Liu Qingzhu is still standing to defeat Tiolin, who is also a level 9 martial apprentice and has awakened a king-level bloodline using only martial skills. "She's just too strong, truly a once-in-a-thousand-years genius." A clear announcement booms from the speakers. Liu Qingzhu wins. Below on the online forums, a flood of comments erupts. "Holy crap, Goddess Liu is too strong. She's my idol. I declare her the champion of Antan City. Anyone object to those who say she can't be champion? Do you even know what her bloodline is? It's the 4th-tier Nether Sparrow? A 4th-tier bloodline. What kind of monster is this? Normal martial artist wouldn't stand a chance against her." "Next up is the draw for the quarterfinals," the speaker announces. "Dihoa representative of Antan No. 1 school has been called." He walks up, his demeanor calm, neither rushed nor tense. He simply places his hand into the lottery box and pulls out a ball with a letter carved on it. He raises the ball to his eyes, slightly raising an eyebrow. "A?" Just as he says it, another student approaches with a friendly smile. "I got A too. Looks like we'll be facing each other." The tall boy smiles and introduces himself as naturally as if they'd known each other for a long time. "I'm Shen Guan from Tan Fong Private Academy," Dihoa replies curtly. "Dihoa Antan No. 1. Shen Guan points to the stage and says enthusiastically, "We're the second match. Let's watch them go first." The speaker's voice rings out again, signaling the opening match of the quarterfinals. Luo Shi of Tan Fong Private Academy versus Su Zhou of Antan No. 1. On the large screen is the image of Luo Shi radiating an intense aura, his spirit energy flowing around him like water. His hand gripping his sword, Shen Guan watches and says, Luo Shi is very strong. He's a returning student this year, focusing solely on the Hua Duo exam. He's mastered his awakened bloodline, but against that Suzhou, he's still helpless. Dihua can't hide his surprise. Suzhou, his gaze shifts to the screen, looking closely at the familiar face. Shen Guan glances over with a smile. Yeah, he's from your school and you don't know him. Just then, the speaker announces the result. Antan No. 1 High School's Suzhou wins. In the coaches area, the principal of Tanfong Private Academy grits his teeth in anger. His hands clench the armrests as if to shatter them. Damn it! We lost the very first match! Dihua turns to his new acquaintance and asks, how does Luo Shi compare to you? Then Quan didn't answer him right away. He just chuckled, scratched his head, and said with a bit of bashfulness but full of confidence, compared to me, haha, I'm the president of the grade 12 martial arts club at Tanpong. In terms of combat power, those other two teammates of yours couldn't beat me even if they teamed up. He glanced over at Dihua. In this exam, I think you're the strongest opponent. I've had keen senses since I was a child. I can sense that you, Dihua, are like a dormant volcano with a colossal beast hidden inside you. Right after that, Thon Quan broke into a relaxed smile. Come on, it's our turn. Announcer, the 8 strongest contestants of the promotion round, the second match. Then Quan from Tanpong Private Academy versus Dihua from Antan No. 1. At that moment, the arena's speaker system blared in unison. The quarterfinals of the Antan University entrance exam are entering a breathtaking stage. The battle between 2 outstanding candidates, then Quan and Dihua, every clash between them unleashes a terrifying energy field so powerful that even the audience below has to raise their hands to shield themselves from the pressure of the overflowing combat chi. The MC couldn't hide his excitement. This is clearly a battle between 2 evenly matched opponents. At the center of the energy storm, then Quan clenched his fists, his sharp gaze following his opponent's every move. In just a fleeting glance at the drops of blood flying through the air, he immediately realized, a nosebleed how? A characteristic sign of a bloodline ability. He's activating something very dangerous. Then Quan hissed, his face darkening with a murderous aura. He stared intently at Dihua and said, this is really strange. You can attack directly at the cellular level. On Dihua's side, he remained in a defensive stance, his gaze calm and observant. He thought to himself about his opponent. Chi martial arts can create a barrier that can even block radiation. This martial art is truly incredible. Despite facing an overwhelming force, Dihua still wore an interested smile, his eyes shining brightly, not giving his opponent any more time to strategize. Then Quan unleashed his chi, his whole body erupting with a force so powerful that the ground itself trembled. From his sturdy hands, a stream of chi erupted into the shape of a giant fire serpent. It opened its maw and spewed a violent, poisonous gas. Then let me show you the Than family's traditional martial arts. With those words, he roared as he unleashed his Xing Yi Quan technique. 2 punches blazing like shooting stars hurtled towards Dihua with full force. Dihua couldn't hide his surprise. Too fast. This is beyond my calculations. In that instant, he couldn't dodge in time and took the full force of the blow. The announcer's voice immediately rang out amidst the chaos. So strong, superhuman Dihua has been hit for the first time. Now, after taking a direct punch, Dihua coughed up blood on the spot, his face turning pale. He's spitting blood. That alone was enough to show just how formidable Thon Quan's Xing Yi Quan was. Although he had just taken a heavy blow, Dihua hadn't fallen. He pressed his hand against the floor, struggling to stand up, his feet sliding across the ground to maintain his stance. Then Quan had no intention of stopping. He charged forward again like a fierce beast, his eyes gleaming as he threw a punch filled with spiritual energy. Nowhere to run! His shout echoed through the stadium. Behind Thon Quan was the image of a giant black bear. It radiated a blazing, murderous aura. His body was enhanced stronger than ever before. With every step, the floor cracked. Dihua was once again forced onto the defensive. In that moment, he had to muster all his strength to defend, trying to buy time to find a chance to counterattack. Not only is he physically strong, then Quan also fuses his chi arts to inflict double damage. The previous opponents were all mediocre. None of them were this strong. And he can even bend his attacks. Just as that thought flashed through his mind, then Quan closed in from behind. You're half right. I don't just inject my chi into my body. I also lock your chi, making you unable to use your martial techniques. As he finished speaking, a devastating punch landed squarely on Dihua's chest, sending him flying. The battle was slowly becoming a nightmare for him. Every one of Than Quan's blows carried destructive power as if a pack of wild beasts were pouncing and tearing at him all at once. Before Di Hoa could even hit the ground, Than Quan had once again transformed into a furious storm. He let out a savage roar with the might of a ferocious tiger. In a move like a hungry tiger pouncing on its prey, Than Quan shot forward, delivering a knockout blow as if to end it all. Blood sprayed through the air. The attack was so heavy that Di Hoa coughed up blood on the spot, but Than Quan wasn't done. A look of crazed satisfaction ignited in his eyes. From high above, he spread his arms wide like a soaring eagle. A dangerous aura erupted from his entire body. "You can't win against me, Di Hoa!" He could only just raise his hands in front of him to block the blow. Space itself trembled as a giant pillar of spiritual energy slammed down like a bolt of lightning. As the dust gradually settled, Than Quan's figure emerged, arms crossed over his chest, a smile on his face, as if victory was already in his grasp. "Ha ha ha, that felt great!" The arena announcer's voice rang out. Than Quan's continuous combo leaves Di Hoa unable to defend. The medical staff is ready to enter the arena. But a dull thud came from within the smoke. Than Quan's eyes widened as he noticed something. Something was moving, and then he staggered back, his jaw agape. A dark aura surged. A massive burst of energy erupted from where Di Hoa lay, intense, ominous, and full of menace. From within the haze, a beast's paw emerged, sharp and solid as metal. Di Hoa! He had completely transformed his entire body, covered in scaly armor. His two eyes glowed brightly like a true beast of prey. He looked straight at Than Quan, his expression calm but radiating an overwhelming pressure. "You are very strong, Than Quan, and this is your reward. You're the first person to ever see this form of mine." The announcer continued. "If a high school student can transform into a demonic beast, they are also granted special exemption from the entrance exam to Huadu. I can't believe that besides Liu Qingzhu, Antan has another bloodline genius." The entire stadium was stunned. Di Hoa advanced step by step towards the trembling Than Quan, the pressure radiating from him crashing down in waves like a tsunami. It caused cold sweat to pour down Than Quan's face. "A true demonic beast form your bloodline awakening. It can actually reach such a high standard." Di Hoa said nothing, only stepping forward as Than Quan retreated step by step. True fear. Announcer urgently, "Each judge has a monitoring earpiece." An old teacher who had been annoyed by an unusual sound suddenly shot to his feet. His eyes widened in shock as he stared at the screen. "What's going on? The radiation levels are off the charts." The reading showed 9,999,999 the moment Di Hoa unleashed his true demonic beast form. The judges immediately detected the danger and without hesitation enveloped the stage with their chi arts. They were trying to prevent the leakage of the extremely dangerous nuclear energy radiating from his body. In the stands, the atmosphere exploded. A wave of murmurs and shouts spread everywhere. "Is this Di Hoa's bloodline awakening so cool? Does anyone know what bloodline he awakened? I go to number 1 high. I heard it was an unknown bloodline. How can something this powerful be unknown?" Seeing all this, Di Hoa just glanced over with arrogant eyes and smirked, thinking to himself, "It seems Blue Star doesn't have any Demala creatures. No wonder they don't recognize it." At that moment, on the other side of the battlefield, Than Quan was in a complete panic. He stared at the streak of blood that had just dripped from his nose, panting and muttering in fear. "My nose is bleeding again. My martial aura can't block his energy. It seems I can't drag this fight out." Pushed into a corner, Than Quan no longer held back. He instantly unleashed the full power of his awakened profession. Behind him, the true form of a baboon with a ferocious red nose appeared. It opened its mouth wide and roared, creating an incredibly fierce pressure. Than Quan's body tensed up accordingly, strengthening itself to the max. Preparing to counter the strange fire, the announcer's voice echoed through the stands as if declaring the arrival of an earth-shattering battle. "Another third-stage king-level bloodline. This exam is full of masters." Without any hesitation, Than Quan combined the power of the baboon with the fiery punch of the python. He pointed straight at Dai He, unleashing the most ferocious attack of the match so far. But in the face of that frenzy, Dai He remained chillingly calm. He didn't rush to dodge, but instead reinforced his own strength. His spiritual energy surged, countering the incoming attack. As the two were about to collide, Dai He shouted, "Martial skill!" Then Quan continued to charge forward, hoping to end the match with this decisive blow. The moment the attack ended, Than Quan froze. "Ah, my hand!" If I hadn't dispersed the force in time, my entire arm would have been shattered. So much for your boasting, how embarrassing. At that moment, Dee walked forward, each step slow but full of power. You're excellent, but unfortunately that won't change the outcome. The announcer's voice boomed across the stands, capturing everyone's attention. In this college entrance exam finals match, a third-stage king-level bloodline has appeared, and on the other side, a demonic beast bloodline. So powerful it can't be identified. What a rare sight. On the stage, then Quan frowned, concentrating intently as he observed his opponent silently calculating. After awakening, his bloodline is unbelievably strong. I can't suppress his martial aura anymore. The only option now is a temporary retreat. But just as he was thinking, he made his move. Each footstep boomed like thunder. His aura billowed as he closed in. He rushed forward, raised his sharp claws, his eyes cold as he spoke with a confident smile. Hey, big guy, stop daydreaming. Not giving his opponent a chance to react, he unleashed a series of combination attacks with ferocious explosive power. Punches like heaven's wrath rained down continuously on Than Quan's massive body. However, Than Quan wasn't one to be easily defeated. In a flash, he seized an opening and countered, throwing a twisting, coiling punch wrapped in extremely powerful spiritual energy. The flexibility of the attack caught Dee off guard, and his arm was locked in place. Immediately, Than Quan used the momentum to leap high into the air. Just a second later, a giant foot stomped down from above with so much force that the entire arena floor cracked. And yet, right in front of him, Dee was still standing there majestically, without a single scratch on him. His two eyes glowed brightly, his stance majestic with his arms crossed. Then he simply lifted his foot from the cratered floor and said coldly, "Now it's my turn." Right after he spoke, spiritual energy gathered around him, swirling like a storm. Just as he was about to strike, his opponent collapsed to his knees, trembling, and surrendered on the spot. The completely unexpected action made Dee freeze, a bewildered look on his face. Before him, Than Quan was kowtowing repeatedly, his mouth saying without lifting his face, "Brother Dai, I surrender." "I'm ready, big brother." A series of question marks appeared in Dai's mind, completely unable to understand what had just happened. Unable to contain his emotions, he threw a tantrum like a child who had his toy snatched away. "Do you have any idea how annoying it is when you just give up like that? I didn't even get to land a punch. This is infuriating." Despite his anger seeing his opponent kowtowing and surrender Dai, he didn't strike. He let his hands fall, and his spiritual energy immediately dissipated. He then sighed in frustration. Whatever, forget it. Right after that, he opened his mouth and spat out a wad of compressed nuclear energy he'd been holding back. He panted and mumbled, holding all that in was so uncomfortable. Dai's body gradually returned to its normal state. He held his head and muttered as if reminding himself, according to the rules, once one side surrenders, the other has no right to continue the attack. The announcer's voice rang out, confirming the match's result. "The match is over. The winner is Dee from Antan No. 1 High School." The stands immediately erupted. The crowd went wild, roaring with cheers. Amidst the praise, they chanted, "Brother Dai is so cool. Brother Dai is a beast. Brother Dai is invincible" on the online forums. Livestream viewers were chattering non-stop. Sarcastic comments mocking Than Quan appeared one after another. "Than Quan before the match, I will win. Than Quan after the match, I apologize for not making." Lord Dee used his full power. A flood of Dee's highlight videos began to sweep across social media. His most epic moments were edited into a compilation clip. It was complete with explosive effects and the caption, "Compilation of Brother Di's matches, don't forget to follow me." A Dee fan club was also established immediately. The first QQ group filled up quickly. The second and third groups were also full within just a few hours. In the eyes of the netizens, he was this year's champion. Some even boldly declared, not even Liu Qingju from Chu Province is a match for him. Meanwhile, in the school leadership area, the principal of Qingfeng Private High was so livid his face turned purple. He slammed his fist on the table and gritted his teeth. "He lost just like that." "I bet everything on you then, Quan. How could you possibly lose like that?" When Than Quan quietly returned backstage, the principal immediately vented all his anger on him. "And you dared to surrender? Do you know how much money we invested in you? You ungrateful wretch, don't even think about getting into university until you pay back every penny." Then Quan said nothing. He just placed his large, firm hand on the principal's shoulder. The principal stumbled back in fear, stammering, What do you think you're doing?" Than Quan looked down at him with a calm gaze and replied, "I couldn't have taken that punch. I surrendered so my foundation wouldn't be permanently damaged. If you don't like it, you can go up there and take that punch yourself. As for the debt I owe this school for my education, I will repay it in due time. But remember this carefully, you cannot threaten a martial artist who is stronger than you. His icy words made the teacher tremble, his lips pressed tight. In a trembling voice, he stammered, Fine, what you say makes sense. Meanwhile, the tournament bracket was updated and an announcement blared over the loudspeakers amidst the boiling excitement from the thrilling matches. The 4 strongest candidates have been revealed, and Tan No. 1 High School has emerged as the big winner, taking 3 of the 4 quarterfinal spots in this region, at the leadership area of Sochao No. 1 High. The principal was overjoyed, feeling ecstatic. He waved his arms around like a fan beaming. It seems old Liu has worked at the school long enough. It's time for a promotion. Back home, Di-Hoa's homeroom teacher was as happy as if he'd won the lottery. Di-Hoa is amazing! The announcer's voice echoed again, this time for the semi-final match draw. Di-Hoa stepped onto the stage to draw his lot with a calm expression. Seemingly uninterested, he raised an eyebrow and muttered, Group A again. Another contestant laughed in response. I'm in Group A too. In front of him now was a familiar face. The Ice Queen Liu Tan Truk. Immediately, social media buzzed with excitement. On the forums, a barrage of comments exploded like firecrackers. Damn it, I've been waiting for this match for so long! The most epic battle in the history of the Antan University entrance exams. Go Goddess Leah, the most anticipated match of the tournament. Brother Dai will definitely win. Hey, you up there! Some people analyzed it quite thoroughly. I think Goddess Liu has the advantage. Right now, she has mastered 2 Zhuanhuang martial arts techniques. That completely overwhelms a 4th stage bloodline. Besides, her nether sparrow hasn't even been revealed yet. That's a 3rd stage king-level bloodline. Di-Hoa, on the other hand, was forced to awaken his bloodline, even though it might be 4th stage compared to Liu, who has profound martial arts knowledge. And has mastered a high-level bloodline, it's still hard to predict. The atmosphere in the arena had now reached its peak. The audience roared and the air felt like it was about to explode. The referee stepped into the center, his powerful voice booming, Liu Tan Truk from Antan No. 1 High School versus Di-Hoa from Antan No. 1 High School. Let the match begin. The moment the referee finished speaking, Di-Hoa's body erupted with power as if shattering all his limits. A fierce aura burst from him, shaking the surrounding space and kicking up a thick cloud of dust. Tan Truk had to raise a hand to shield her face, her eyes narrowing. Before her was a dark silhouette surrounded by an aura that blazed like fire above his head. He even had 2 flickering motes of light glowing there. Right from the start, Di-Hoa displayed his overwhelming power. Tan Truk took a slight step back, her expression a bit wary in the face of this immense pressure. Tan Truk stared at him without blinking, whispering to herself, Di-Hoa, I hope you're strong enough. As soon as the match began, Di-Hoa instantly released a massive amount of steam. It completely covered the arena. This opening move was meant to establish dominance over his female opponent, causing everyone below to cry out in surprise. What is this? I can't see anything! The male MC up high was just as excited, slamming his hand on the table and shouting into the mic, Liu Tan Truk, how will the genius of the Liu family deal with the dark horse D? Oh, in this year's exam, let's wait and see. Back in the arena, the atmosphere was extremely tense. Di-Hoa looked at his opponent, a girl with a perfect figure appearing amidst the dust and smoke. Liu Tan Truk possessed superior martial arts techniques with mystical skills that made her difficult to damage, no matter how much power one had. But I can't underestimate this opponent. He pressed his lips together, analyzing her in his mind. She's not just a martial arts genius. She also has an extremely high combat index. The longer this fight goes on, the worse it'll be for me. I have to go all out from the very beginning. Without hesitation, Di-Hoa flew up, gathering a large amount of energy in his palm and attacking. He headed straight for his opponent with a loud laugh, the light from his strike flashing, revealing his determination. But Tan Truk was no pushover. She immediately raised her hands to defend. Her 2 hands twisted together, forming a solid protective layer. Her gaze was sharp as she thought, a direct attack, then I'll defend and counter. Suddenly, Di-Hoa changed his tactics. Instead of throwing the punch as expected, he moved with incredible speed. His figure blurred, then reappeared in an instant, whipping his tail powerfully at Liu Tan Truk's waist. The powerful strike curved like a wave. Annoyed, Tan Truk cursed him internally. He's so cunning, how dare he trick me? She immediately retreated to dodge and said angrily, You said you'd use your fists! but you swing a steel tail. Dihoa wasn't being modest at all. He opened his large beak and let out a roar, unleashing a powerfully converged, toxic nuclear energy. He leaped up, clenching his fists and arching his body like a mantis shrimp. He prepared to charge and attack Tan Truck. The match was being live-streamed on the forum where many were watching and commenting. "Oh, the poor goddess. This is a life-or-death battlefield. All's fair in war. This is dangerous. This move will break the goddess's rhythm." Dihoa's fierce assault left Liu Tan Truck no chance to escape. She tried to resist Dihoa's overwhelming power. The two were almost evenly matched. Dihoa threw a powerful punch past her face, but Tan Truck dodged it. On the forum, a viewer commented, "Dihoa's martial aura is pushing Liu Tan Truck back. She might escape this time." But immediately, Dihoa aimed straight for her stomach and threw a punch, causing her to double over from the impact. Dihoa didn't stop continuing to generate a shockwave of energy. Liu Tan Truck was sent flying. Even though his opponent was a girl, Dihoa didn't hesitate to go all out. On the forum, someone commented, "Don't even think about escaping his martial aura-infused claws." Dihoa's relentless attacks were aimed right at her. He raised his sharp claws, his eyes glinting dangerously, and he didn't hesitate to taunt his opponent. "It's not that easy." The young man continued to spin, swinging a powerful, swirling energy attack toward Tan Truck. She had to constantly move backward to avoid the damage. Dihoa clenched his fist, a gloating smile on his face. Tan Truck, just at the start of the match, had already endured a continuous barrage of attacks. Her eyes widened in horror. "His claws are infused with martial aura!" The thought had barely formed in her mind when a powerful blow shot from Dihoa like a hurricane. Tan Truck couldn't react in time and had to push off, arching her body in a leap to avoid the massive strike. She flew through the air, but the moment she looked up, Dihoa was already in front of her, a grotesque smile on his blackened face. His two fists were clenched, forming two brilliant orbs of energy. He said, "Don't run, classmate Liu." With that, Dihoa, without a shred of hesitation, like a monster devoid of emotion, launched a relentless barrage of strikes at Tan Truck's chest, his arms spread wide. Only the brilliant light from the powerful punches could be seen. Tan Truck still hadn't had a chance to counterattack, trying to hold a defensive stance and wait for an opening. Her eyes darted, watching Dihoa's unending assault. She was terrified internally. This kind of high-intensity attack? Doesn't he get tired? His stamina is incredible. She knew she possessed two profound martial arts techniques, the Liu family's secret defensive art, the illusory flower shadow, and the offensive technique, the primal jade finger. If I can just use one of them, I can break free from this overwhelming pressure. But damn it, Dihoa isn't giving me any openings. If I lose my footing, I'll be knocked right out of the ring. Tan Truck was using all her strength to resist Dihoa's terrifying blows when suddenly a single feather appeared on his fist. This feather emanated a strange purple demonic energy. Dihoa tried to tighten his fist to fight off its influence, but it made him feel a bit uneasy. Staring at it, he had no idea what was happening. Tan Truck couldn't let herself be overpowered any longer. She decided to draw on the energy from her eyes, which slowly transformed into the dark gaze of a wild beast. "I have to use my last resort," she thought. Suddenly, feathers began to appear, first one, then two, carrying a powerful and strange spiritual energy that Dihoa could feel. He knew these were not something to be touched lightly. Then Tan Truck appeared before him, but she was no longer the weak girl from before. She had transformed into a beastly form. Two large wings spread out from her back as she shot high into the air like a giant bird. Dihoa looked up, stunned by this transformation. Tan Truck, with the bloodline of the nether sparrow, spread her left and right wings. Her body radiated a powerful energy as the announcer's voice boomed, declaring that for the first time, Liu Tan Truck had awakened her nether sparrow bloodline. All this time she had been trying to suppress it, but now was the moment to truly unleash her power. Tan Truck looked up, her gaze fixed intensely on Dihoa. Her fists clenched as power surged through her. With a serious expression, she whispered, "Dihoa, be careful. In this state, I can't control the force of my attacks." Faced with her powerful aura, Dihoa remained completely unfazed. He looked at Tan Truck with a disdainful smirk and replied, "Ha, it's a good thing you said that, because up until now I've only been using 50% of my strength." Before Dihoa could finish his sentence, Tan Truck immediately used her nether sparrow ability to envelop his body, draining his energy. Caught off guard by the sudden attack, Hoa was forced to pause for a moment. Tan Truck seized the opportunity, circling behind him and raising her hand, gathering an immense amount of energy for a decisive blow. But the truth was, Hoa had predicted all of it. He didn't dodge. Instead, he suddenly spun around, clenched his fist, and unleashed his full power in a counterattack. A terrifying grin spread across his face as the fight between the two contestants became ferocious. They lunged at each other as if it were a life-or-death battle. Two hands, two powers clashing head-on. The force of their punches was so immense it made the entire arena shake violently. Both of them were determined to be the victor. The aftershock from the powerful collision of their two energies also affected the audience below. Screams erupted. It's horrifying. The shockwave is too strong. I can't open my eyes. As things finally settled down, Tan Truck dared to open her eyes. Before her was a horrifying sight. After that clash, Hoa had transformed. He stood there, his body changed, his limbs now those of a strange beast. He radiated a powerful nuclear energy as lightning crackled all around him. The skin on his body had morphed into a layer of iron-like armor. Hoa looked at Tan Truck, his eyes glowing. A brilliant energy emanated from his lips like a monster devoid of all feeling. At Hoa's position, a colossal burst of energy suddenly erupted. It was as powerful as a thunderbolt, causing the announcer's speaker to blare continuously. This was a dramatic semi-final match where all eyes were fixed on the beautiful opponent before him. The energy radiating from Hoa made the surrounding air suffocating. Dangerous energy waves were surging. The announcer's voice cried out again, "What is going on?" It seems Hoa's true demonic beast form is accumulating power. Hoa suddenly transformed again, shifting into an impressive new form as hard scales grew from his back. He released a powerful energy that shattered the arena floor beneath him. The MC couldn't take his eyes off his back where the large scales were now storing nuclear energy. His spine protruded, drawing in a massive amount of power that channeled towards his mouth. He hunched over, opened his mouth, and unleashed a swirling pillar of energy straight at Tan Truck. Brilliant shockwaves pulsed around him and that pillar of energy. It shot forward so fast that Tan Truck couldn't move in time. She had to use her large wings to protect herself, curling up in anxiety. Her spirit-filled eyes showed clear signs of strain. Hoa's massive energy pillar continued to advance with no sign of stopping. The moment it made contact with Tan Truck's wings, a violent explosion occurred, sending streams of radiation flying everywhere. Tan Truck used her awakened bloodline's feather shadow to counterattack, but many of her feathers were shed under the immense pressure. The scene descended into chaos. The announcer shouted, "This is bad. Hoa's aura is disrupting Tan Truck's feathers." Hoa showed no mercy, but Tan Truck was not an opponent who would be easily defeated. The spectators, below their faces pale from the vortex created by the fight, suddenly saw brilliant golden spots of light appear before them. Like glowing honeycombs, these shields stood firm, effectively blocking Hoa's energy. His power crashed against the barrier, causing terrifying explosions. The shields were created by Huang Jing, the mayor of Ancheng. He stood tall, his elegant appearance belying the internal energy he was using to protect the match. His eyes were fixed on the fight as he said calmly, "Watch. The strongest champion in the history of Ancheng will be born today." In the upper stands, cheers and applause roared like crashing waves. The MC, with his gelled hair, screamed excitedly into the microphone. Luckily, thanks to Mayor Huang's protection, the audience is safe. Back in the arena, bright red drops of blood were splattered on the ground. This blood belonged to Tan Truck, who had taken the full force of Hoa's horrific power. The girl looked utterly battered, her wings tattered with only a shred of her clothing luckily still intact. Exhausted, Tan Truck's lips trembled as she spoke with difficulty. "With just one blow, he shattered my nether sparrow's defense. Can I really beat him?" Whispers echoed in her mind. From a young age, Liu Tan Truck had carried the heavy burden of her clan's generations-long expectations. She was the hope for the Liu clan's revival. She was not allowed to lose. "The ancestors of the Liu clan are watching you. Do not disappoint us. Always appear strong." But inside, Tan Truck was just a weak little girl. Her mother's words still echoed in her heart. "Mother Truck put all her heart into you so that you could restore the family. You are not allowed to be stubborn." She was never allowed to make her own decisions. The girl always felt weak. "Mom, I can't breathe anymore." Her helpless gaze drifted toward her opponent. She whispered softly, "I'm so tired." Hoa stood before her strong and confident, his eyes those of a victor. Truck looked at him and thought to herself, Hoa is just too strong. Facing an opponent like this, it's no wonder I'm losing. She resolved to fight until the very end, pouring all her remaining strength into this battle. Even though my body is covered in wounds, I'll deliberately reveal an opening. Hoa will notice and finish me off. I'll lose this match. I can't face my family anymore. Maybe it's better to die here. Truck lunged toward Hoa, intending to land a light blow on his chest so he could end the match quickly. But Hoa didn't move. Surprised, Truck looked up and asked, "Why aren't you dodging?" Hoa looked at her with a cold gaze, his voice devoid of emotion. Classmate Truck, why has your fighting spirit completely vanished? Seeing right through her, Truck's eyes widened in shock. Hoa's expression grew tense and extremely angry, his face darkening. Are you even treating me as a real opponent? I don't want to win this championship in such a cowardly way. Truck couldn't help but be stunned by Hoa's intensity. Her eyes filled with a mix of emotions and fear of what was happening before her. Hoa charged forward without holding back, swinging a powerful fist at Truck's face. Helplessly, she raised her hand to shield herself as she took the blow. Hoa didn't stop continuing to unleash powerful kicks. Truck was knocked to the ground, unable to endure it any longer. She screamed, "You bastard, in my entire life, no one has ever dared to hit me like this." Even while being beaten to a pulp, Truck still managed to scream. "I was trying to let you win. Why do you keep coming after me?" Truck's endurance had reached its limit. The hidden power within her erupted. The energy field around her flared violently as Truck screamed, "Don't hit a girl in the face, you bastard!" Finally, Hoa stopped. His pupils lit up as he looked at her with a smirk. "That's right. If you don't want to be hit in the face, then wake up." It seemed Hoa had helped Truck unlock her greatest power. Her current form was stronger than ever. Her wings were fully restored, even larger than before, radiating a powerful and deadly aura. She sighed, her gaze sharp and determined. "Just as you wish, Hoa. I will use my strongest state to defeat you." Right now, Truck had reached her peak form. Her wings spread wide, emitting a brilliant and powerful light. Hoa watched, unable to help but marvel at the power hidden within her. He let out a smirk, his eyes filled with excitement. "So you finally revealed your true demonic beast form, have you? Now things are getting interesting." Hoa quickly activated his imperial demon form. His body tensed up, each cell seemingly transforming into a layer of tough scales as blue flames erupted all over him. It created an intense source of energy. The young man smiled with satisfaction as if preparing for the most exciting fight imaginable. He opened his mouth wide like a monster, took a deep breath and shouted, "In that case, I can't hold back either." Hoa leaped into the air, the force from his feet like an explosion causing the ground beneath him to tremble. Truck didn't just sit still. She quickly recognized Hoa's impending attack. Her gaze sharpened. She couldn't just wait to be attacked without fighting back. Instantly, a violent vortex of energy appeared from Truck's position. It quickly swirled inward, forming a giant tornado that glowed brilliantly. Hoa charged forward with unstoppable force, surrounded by a cloud of dust. Without hesitation, she took a quick breath and, opening her mouth, unleashed a powerful energy field. The shock wave that shot out from it was every bit as powerful as his. Truck was pouring everything she had into this fight. As the two powers collided, the entire area was shaken. At that moment, the sound wave from Truck's mouth swept towards Hoa. He reacted with extreme speed, staring at her with a serious tone. "You think you're the only one who knows how to scream." Truck, being familiar with this move, wasn't scared at all. She raised both hands, preparing to receive the blow, and said, "The same old trick. This time I won't back down. I will face you head-on." The atomic earth breath was activated. At the same time, Truck focused all her power into her hands, forming a sphere of energy. The sphere lit up and immediately transformed into countless arrows that shot straight towards Hoa. The battle between the two was becoming incredibly intense. No one could predict the outcome. In the stands, everyone was on the edge of their seats. The announcer's voice boomed, "Hoa's atomic earth breath and Truck's nether bloodthorn are creating two massive shockwaves." The spectators gripped their hands, standing up with a mix of anxiety and excitement. This is bad. A collision of this magnitude is not something two fighters can control. To protect the audience, the mayor of Antan City, Huang Qin, had to use his ability to erect 3 large barrier walls. This wall was created for protection. But when it collided with the power of the two fighters, it shattered in an instant. After the two columns of energy made contact, the stands fell silent from the terrifying shock. Was that barrier made by the mayor? Everyone looked at the remaining rubble, utterly astonished by the power they had just witnessed. Mayor Huang Qin saw the barrier he created get destroyed in a single moment. He couldn't help but feel worried. If not for his intervention, everyone might have been affected. He thought to himself, 3 layers of the divine earth vein wall. I prepared it too hastily this time. It wasn't as sturdy as usual. To think I let Dihoa's and Liu Tan Truck's attacks clash head-on. Who would have thought this year's exam would have 2 contestants so far beyond all expectations? Back in the arena, Tan Truck was in a tattered state. Blood flowed like water from her slender, weak hand. Her breathing was ragged, her face was gaunt, and her right arm was completely mangled. She had returned to her human form, her body covered in wounds, and weak, but her eyes were still resolute. Tan Truck struggled to say each word. Ha! The power of my true demonic beast form is also depleted. She raised her head, her eyes filled with determination as she looked at Dihoa. Even though she knew the situation was beyond saving, she still wouldn't give up. I can still fight. Dihoa stomped 1 foot hard on the floor. Appearing before her, he had returned to his normal state, showing no signs of injury. As for Tan Truck, her outfit was practically torn to shreds, and her right arm was completely mangled. Tan Truck looked at Dihoa, her eyes full of doubt. My attack clearly hit you. How are you completely unharmed? Dihoa looked at her calmly. He said emotionlessly, if I don't remove the radiation from you in time, you'll be crippled. These words proved that Dihoa had held back, leaving her a way out. Tan Truck bit her lip hard, trembling, then looked up with wide eyes. Tears streamed down like a river. I never wanted to fight like this. Why do you keep forcing me? Dihoa sat down quietly, looking the girl up and down without saying anything. After a moment, he spoke slowly, no longer with a playful look, but seriously. Do you really not want to fight, or are you just stubbornly refusing to admit your own desire to win? When you were risking your life, I could feel your desire to win. Tan Truck stared at him blankly, unable to speak a word, her small mouth just quivering. She thought to herself, that's right. Just now I really wanted to defeat him. That's why I dropped my defenses and used all my strength. But why did I do that? I obviously hate fighting and just wanted to lose quickly. But in that moment of battle, I truly felt it. I felt the thrill of fighting for myself and not for anyone else. Just then, Dihoa's warm hand gently rested on her shoulder. Tan Truck blushed and looked up at him, strange thoughts stirring within her about the person who had beaten her to a pulp. Is this what a gentleman is like? You beat me to a pulp and now you're healing me, Dihoa channeled energy into her arm, saying as he worked, you carry too many stray thoughts in battle. Tan Truck stared at her hand in a daze. The wound and the radiation on her arm had vanished without a trace. Dihoa wasn't arrogant like the others. He looked at her with acknowledgement. He said gently, but you're still the strongest opponent I've ever faced. Then he turned back and gave a slight smile. Next time, if we get the chance, I'd love to have a pure battle with you. Liu Tan Truck. Her heart suddenly skipped a beat. She blushed like a tomato, her sparkling eyes fixed on Dihoa as if she couldn't look away. Dihoa stood in the middle of the arena, a perfect victor. He had won everyone over completely. As the smoke and dust gradually cleared, the announcer's voice rang out. The first semifinal match is over. Dihoa from Antan No. 1 High School is the winner. On the large screen, the image of Dihoa's next opponent appeared clearly. The announcer's voice rang out full of suspense after Dihoa defeated Liu Tan Truck. So Chow, as expected, has also claimed victory. The entire stadium was heating up, and now the high school division final was approaching. This showdown between Dihoa and So Chow, 2 students from the same school, Antan No. 1. It had already begun to attract a huge audience. The number of live viewers had skyrocketed to over 496 million people, creating a massive wave of excitement and anticipation. So Chow, after thorough preparation, stood straight, his hands tightly gripping his sword, which emanated energy. His sharp gaze swept over Dihoa without a hint of hesitation. Let's have a good fight, Dihoa replied with a dangerous smile, his face lighting up, his eyes excited and full of energy. Bring it on, not keeping Dihoa waiting. So Chow charged in to attack first. He swung his sword, performing moves that gathered energy, his body leaping high into the air as he unleashed a powerful and ferocious attack. But Dihoa stood still, not worried in the slightest. He crossed his arms, not feeling any power from So Chow's strike. He shouted, "Atomic," and immediately a powerful pillar of energy shot out. It shattered So Chao's entire attack. The powerful shockwave pushed everything away, easily overwhelming his opponent. So Chao couldn't stay on his feet and had to shield himself with his arm to see clearly. Holding his shining blade, he spoke with a hidden meaning, "Too lazy to find my real body, huh? So you just use a simple, brutish method to blow all my clones away." So Chao realized his opponent was too strong and immediately felt the clear difference in their power. My defenses can't stand up to Dehoa at all. Among people our age who can fight him one-on-one, he's truly a monster. So Chao wasn't discouraged. He focused his mind and resolved to change tactics. His eyes changed color, showing his determination as he switched to a new strategy. "If I can't fight you up close, then I'll fight you from a distance." He shouted, "Bloodline Awakening." Just a month later, So Chao's body transformed, becoming a giant, powerful, and incredibly fierce divine dragon. His body contorted, his hands and head changing. It created an incredibly powerful image. He focused energy into his hands and then unleashed a ferocious attack, shouting, "Ice Demon Dragon." This astonishing scene made the audience gasp in admiration, and the live stream chat exploded. "Holy crap, So Chao can create a giant ice mountain. The Ice Demon Dragon is so powerful." So Chao hovered in mid-air facing Dehoa. His entire body radiated a powerful freezing energy. The audience cheered him on relentlessly. "Defeat Dehoa, the great demon king. Go for it, bro. You can do it." The giant ice mountain So Chao created covered the entire arena floor, completely sealing Dehoa in. The crowd in the stands seemed to tremble before So Chao's power, but just as So Chao felt his own body being heavily affected by the ice power, he could only think to himself, "This sudden burst of ice power is taking a heavy toll on my body." Meanwhile, the announcer's voice rang out, making everyone even more tense. "The ice mountain is starting to melt!" As expected, Dehoa, with his terrifying power, had begun to melt the ice mountain. A powerful beam of atomic energy shot from his mouth, completely destroying So Chao's ice mountain. So Chao was stunned, his eyes wide in disbelief. How could it be broken so easily? So Chao reacted instantly, creating another ice mountain to block the attack, but the storm of energy continued to rush towards him. A massive explosion occurred. Everything was shrouded in energy and smoke. After everything settled, one of Dehoa's feet stomped hard on the floor, and he said coldly, "Your Ice Demon Dragon power has no effect on me. It seems I've completely countered you." So Chao sighed, keenly aware that the gap in their power was far too great. "Dehoa, take my final move. This is the ultimate martial limit technique. I was originally saving this for Liu Tan Truck, but now I will use it to defeat you." So Chao powered up his great sword, glowing as energy surged into the blade. So Chao roared as the mighty sword swung down. A massive crash echoed, shaking the entire stadium. A moment later, red drops of blood began to splatter onto the arena floor, signaling that the tension showed no signs of ending. Dehoa raised his strong, calloused hand. Blood dripped from it, but his voice was unwavering. "If you had a better sword, you might have stood a chance." But the biggest surprise wasn't his words. It was So Chao's face, which had turned deathly pale, unable to believe the reality that his sword had been utterly destroyed. My sword is broken. How big of a chance?" With his familiar smug grin, Dehoa looked at his nearly hopeless opponent and replied, Your chances would have been just a tiny bit better than those scrubs." Fully understanding this situation, So Chao simply raised his hand and declared, "I concede." The fight ended just like that, surprisingly and simply. The announcer's voice boomed, "Anton entrance exam, Dehoa is the victor." He stood there, scratching his head awkwardly amidst the dust and rubble of the ruined arena. The live stream viewers had never been this excited. "Whoa, I knew I was right about him. Dai is freaking amazing." So Chao is strong, but he's nothing compared to Dehoa. Praises like these flooded social media, and images of Dehoa's victory quickly went viral, with likes skyrocketing. This dark horse Dehoa really saw it through to the end. Everyone joyfully shared the news of his victory, especially the students of Antan who had witnessed this historic moment. With this victory, Dehoa became the strongest champion in Antan's history. His name was plastered on every billboard in the city, and now the online forums were exploding with activity. Congratulations echoed through the stands as the crowd roared, unable to contain their emotions. Just then, the MC and Huang Qin walked onto the stage. Pointing proudly at Dehoa, he announced, "After 3 intense days of competition, the 24th Antan exam has found its champion, and that person is Dehoa from Antan No. 1 High School." Dehoa stood there scratching his head with an awkward smile. The MC continued, Student Dehoa, we heard that your strength is something you developed slowly over a long period. Is there anything you'd like to share? He got a little nervous, thinking to himself, wow, this guy's got a way with words. He's making it sound so fancy for a brute like me. After a moment, Dehoa calmed himself and smiled. Ahem. First, I have to thank my teacher. He never gave up on me even at my lowest point. He's the one who helped me find my fighting spirit again. The scene cuts to his homeroom teacher hugging a TV and sobbing. Sob, I really don't deserve your praise, Dehoa. As a teacher, I failed you. I failed to notice your potential. I'm so sorry. Before the teacher could finish his words, Dehoa noticed the principal waving at him. The principal? He thought, startled. The principal gestured and whispered, 2 million. Dehoa, just say a little something for our Anthan #1 high, and I'll give you a 2 million scholarship. Dehoa's eyes lit up at the mention of the money. He immediately grabbed the microphone. Oh, thank you to my beloved school. Thank you to my dear principal. Without your brilliant leadership, I wouldn't be standing here today. Then Dehoa raised his fist high, his spirit soaring, and continued. And finally, I want to thank myself. Without my own effort and wisdom, I, Dehoa, would never have achieved this glory. Just then, a system notification appeared. Congratulations, host, for achieving the title of champion. Reward 1 random ability draw. Dehoa's eyes widened in surprise as he exclaimed to himself, the champion title. So there's an achievement system, huh? In the stadium hallway, after winning the champion title, Dehoa was running for his life. Behind him, a noisy mob of reporters swarmed him like bees to honey. Questions were relentlessly hurled at him from all sides. Dehoa, do you feel the pressure of being the top student? How did you improve so much in just 6 months? Are you planning to attend Hwadu University? The reporters didn't stop relentlessly questioning Dehoa, even as he tried his best to escape the crowd. Still, he couldn't escape their sharp questions. Stop chasing me, I really have to pee. He muttered to himself on the verge of wetting his pants, but stubbornly kept running. The reporters were relentless. One of them caught up, shoved a mic in his face, and kept asking, Dehoa, who do you think is prettier, Liu Than Truk or Tai Thiu Lin, or perhaps you prefer Then Quan or So Chow? Even while frantically running away, Dehoa's expression didn't change. His face darkened, his fatigue evident, and he whispered to himself, I don't have time to waste on this pack of reporters. He accelerated quickly, leaving the crowd of reporters behind. Their disappointed calls echoed after him. Dehoa, wait, just one last question, as he stepped into the basketball arena area. Dehoa finally escaped the reporters. Panting, he clenched his fists and chuckled smugly to himself. Ha, finally shook them off. So it turns out the template isn't the only way. You can also get them from system rewards. He was basking in the feeling of victory. Suddenly, a dark figure appeared in front of him. Dehoa, congratulations on taking first place. Dehoa spun around in alarm, his only thought being not another reporter. But no, it wasn't a reporter. The man before him politely removed his hat, holding a mysterious briefcase. He offered a friendly smile as he greeted him. Don't misunderstand, I'm not a reporter. I'm from Hwadu. His serious gaze locked onto Dehoa as he continued. Now let's talk about the matter of your gene lock. Dehoa was a bit taken aback and didn't reply right away. Gene lock, he thought to himself. I haven't unlocked any genes. My powers all come from a monster template. He knows about my abilities. Who is he? He began to grow suspicious of this mysterious man. The man wasn't in a hurry. He calmly put his hat back on and continued, the keyword gene. You heard that from your father, didn't you? Yihi immediately answered, that's right. He recalled the original owner's memories and couldn't deny it. The man took a file out of his briefcase and said, Yihi, aren't you curious? How could an ordinary taxi driver like your father know terms that have nothing to do with his profession? That question made Yihi wonder, could my father be some kind of hidden master? The man continued presenting the sealed document in front of Yihi. Because of your special case, Hwadu can declassify one document. Yihi quickly opened the document. Before he could even finish reading, he hastily scanned it. He saw information about Prometheus, a research institute that was once the leader in the field of genes on Blue Star. But it was shut down after a major incident. Gene-locking technology was their key project. Yihi now realized why this man had sought him out. So you people think my father was a high-level researcher for Prometheus and that I'm their secret project, huh? The man approached Yihi and added, don't worry, the nation won't give you any trouble. I'm just here to help you understand the situation. Since you're at the center of this, I had to let you know. Yihi replied in a calm voice. Brother, I'm even calmer than you think. The man continued, you are a person of national interest. We will protect you. Yi-hei smiled, a hint of satisfaction in his eyes. Well then, if you'll excuse me. He narcissistically thought to himself that he was starting to get more famous, but it also came with a lot of trouble. Ha ha ha, this society is so pragmatic, he laughed out loud in the middle of the sports field. Then he looked at the man from Huadu and said softly, well then, if you'll excuse me. Yi-hei clasped his hands together. He had won the top spot in this exam, and that wasn't all. He also received a $2 million scholarship and an $800,000 prize. But what excited him most was the chance to draw a new template. The feeling was uncontrollable. I'm so excited I could explode. This feels incredible, Yi-hei thought to himself. I can't wait any longer. He quickly summoned the system. Instantly, a circle of energy appeared. It swirled before him like a mysterious door opening. He stood there, his eyes glued to the strange spinning ring of light, feeling as if he were hypnotized. He opened his mouth and involuntarily blurted out, I can't wait anymore. In front of Yi-hei, the spinning energy circle emitted a fantastical light that enveloped the entire space. He stood there wide-eyed and awestruck by the appearance of a colossal titan form. It had a bizarre skeletal shape and radiated a thick layer of smoke. The system continued to display the parameters D-rank ability template. Colossal titan form. Ability 60-meter titanization, high steam temperature. Evolved form primordial colossus. Compatibility 1%. Yi-hei stared pensively at what was before him. The colossal titan form, huh? He wondered, then suddenly remembered something. His eyes widened as he thought, if I combine this with the Berserker Emperor Damalak template, abilities from different models can be stacked. What would happen if the colossal titan combined with the Berserker Demon King Emperor Damalak? Instantly, an image appeared before Yi-hei, a colossal titan combined with Emperor Damalak. It had a muscular, powerful body with a long tail that swept through the air. He realized he was standing before a true monster king. The scene changes to a dark room where a large man is sitting and talking on the phone. Big Brother Huo Long, do you mean you won't be taking any more missions from now on? A voice came from the phone speaker. The man replied calmly, That's right, cancel everything on the schedule. The respectful reply came from the other end. Yes, I understand. On the table were marks from a physical impact as if someone had caused a disturbance. The man then pressed his large index finger hard against his rugged face, his expression clearly showing his anger. He was in an incredibly foul mood, as if trying to suppress his rage. A voice announced from off-screen. Unfortunately, we couldn't find your brother's body in the secret realm. However, at the location where his signal was last detected, we found traces of radiation. The man was silent for a moment, then muttered, Little brother, I told you not to get involved with the underworld. Why didn't you listen? Mom told me to take care of you. On the TV screen, the results of the competition were being announced. Ancheng Finals Yi-hei wins. The man looked at the screen with clear interest. He walked closer to the TV as if wanting to pat Yi-hei on the head. Yi-hei, truly a rare genius from Ancheng Huadu. We'll definitely fight over him. But he also acknowledged with regret, but unfortunately for them, they won't get to see him enroll. Back at Yi-hei's residence, a package had been delivered. He was practicing his martial arts and hurried out to receive the package. Who would send me something right when I'm about to enter a secret realm to test my new template? Yi-hei pulled out a letter with his name on it. The letter read, According to Huadu Central's investigation, a new secret realm crack will open this afternoon at Infrared Defense Village. Own Secret predicts it will be C rank. I'm planning to explore it. Want to come along? Signed Suzhou. After reading the letter, Yi-hei shivered and grimaced in disbelief. You've got to be kidding me. Who still uses handwritten letters in this day and age? Or is he a transmigrator too? The scene changes to Hongshu Mountain in Ancheng. The place was beautiful and majestic in its own way. Many people had already gathered here. Not just many, but a whole lot of them. Everyone was mentally preparing for battle. Yi-hei's face paled at the sight of the massive crowd. There must be at least 1,000 people. A new secret realm really is a huge draw. As soon as he appeared, Suzhou noticed him and approached. Yi-hei replied politely, Oh, Suzhou. Suzhou saw Yi-hei and gave him a bright smile. You've gotten stronger again, haven't you? Although Yi-hei forced a friendly smile, he thought to himself, I didn't expect this guy to be so perceptive. I used the scholarship money to buy a few gene potions to raise my compatibility to 35%. Low-ranked templates have their advantages. They're effective quickly. Yi-hei thought after looking around. I casually struck up a conversation asking which school you were planning to apply to. So Chow didn't look at him, answering curtly with his eyes closed, "Hua du." This answer made Di-Hoa smile as he replied, "So we'll still be classmates then." But he quickly noticed So Chow's mood. Something was off. Just as Di-Hoa was lost in thought, a crack suddenly appeared in the sky. A strange spatial rift opened, drawing everyone's attention. "The secret realm is about to open!" Excited shouts erupted. A sudden shockwave hit as a monster emerged from the spatial rift. It was a three-headed vulture with massive wings. It swooped down to attack the crowd below. A martial artist pointed excitedly at the sky, shouting, "The secret realm has opened! Brothers, let's take down this demonic beast and enter the secret realm." The crowd of martial artists immediately gathered, focusing their energy ready to fight. They launched their attacks in unison. Their power was like that of a mighty army. Although the vulture was three-headed and strong, it seemed unable to withstand the martial artists' combined strength. In just a moment, it was torn to shreds. The vulture, with only a few feathers left, fell amidst the fierce assault. By this time, Di-Hoa had already stepped into the secret realm, entering a strange, wild forest. The trees here were different, and the smell of blood in the air made him mutter, "The stench of blood is so strong." He suddenly realized, "It's a beast tide. These bastards have been waiting for us for a long time." He quickly gave an order. All martial artists by national law prioritize killing the demonic beasts and fighting back the beast tide. In the blink of an eye, mutated monsters, with skull-like heads but fleshy bodies, began to leap out and attack. The martial artists who had just entered the secret realm were fearless. Everyone was ready to fight, mobilizing all their energy. To deal with the fierce assault, So Chow didn't stand on the sidelines either. He charged into battle with his sword, raising his hand high and shouting, "Bloodline power atomic blast." His powerful strike, combined with the might of his sword, slammed directly into two charging monsters, creating a giant mountain of ice that stopped them in their tracks. Just then, a monster tried to attack So Chow from behind. Seeing this, Di-Hoa quickly used his energy to fire a powerful beam of light piercing through the monster. It exploded in mid-air. So Chow quickly turned around grateful and said, "Thanks a lot." With Di-Hoa's help, the horde of monsters was quickly annihilated. The ground was now littered with their bones and blood. Di-Hoa turned to So Chow and said calmly, "None of the demonic beasts in this secret realm know how to fight." So Chow looked at the monsters Di-Hoa had annihilated and couldn't help but feel terrified. "Di-Hoa, you killed that many demonic beasts without breaking a sweat." He marveled, "It's like you're a storm of destruction, repelling all creatures and destroying everything." Di-Hoa continued to move the light of nuclear energy radiating from his body. It made the space around him seem completely cleansed. Everyone who witnessed this was shocked by Di-Hoa's overwhelming power. My God, how is he so fast? Could there be a high-level martial artist helping them? Another martial artist said, "No, that's not it. The top scorer of Antan University's entrance exam is among them." The university's top scorer has that kind of monster-killing ability. The crowd, stunned, realized that Di-Hoa was no ordinary martial artist. The people around quickly gathered in front of Di-Hoa, cheering and shouting, "Lure the beast horde towards the top scorer." A moment later, a triumphant shout rang out. "The leader of the beast tide has been defeated. We've won!" The beast tide finally began to retreat. So Chow breathed a sigh of relief, his forehead drenched in sweat. At least we've survived the first beast tide. In the beginning, over 1,000 martial artists had gathered. But now there are only about 800 people left, not to mention the casualties. Just then, Di-Hoa staggered over to So Chow, laboriously carrying giant bags of stones left by the monsters. "So Chow," he said, "look at all this. How am I supposed to collect it all?" So Chow couldn't help but be surprised by Di-Hoa's greed and asked, "Why did you take so many monster cores?" Then So Chow took out a ring. "This is my spatial ring. You can just put your stuff in here." Seeing the ring, Di-Hoa grinned with delight. "A spatial ring. It's worth 10,000 taels of gold. I never expected So Chow to be a secret tycoon. He's filthy rich." Just then, someone announced that Boss Vo Sam had arrived. Both of them looked in the direction of the voice. The people around were telling the newly arrived man about Di-Hoa. Luckily, he killed the leader-class monsters. Otherwise, we would have died of exhaustion in the beast tide. Everyone looked at the newcomer with admiration. This man was tall, with many tattoos on his body. As soon as he arrived, he spoke up. "Hello. You're the top scorer of Antan University's entrance exam, correct? I'm the branch captain of the Silver Wolf Martial Guild in Antan." He approached Di-Hoa and proactively extended his hand to introduce himself. I just heard my guild members recounting your heroic deeds. I was wondering if you'd be interested in joining our martial arts team. If you join, it won't affect your university studies. On the contrary, you'll receive many other benefits. I, Sam, am prepared to accept you as an S-rank member of the team. The crowd gasped in amazement. This is an amazing opportunity. Without the support of a strong martial guild, a martial artist's career is very difficult to sustain, especially in Jia country, where roaming groups are also very powerful. Moreover, S-rank status in the Silver Wolf team is something that even students from Huadu University can't easily obtain. Just then, a girl riding a black tiger approached. She wore a seductive outfit, and her powerful appearance stunned everyone. She spoke up, Sam, you're fast. Are you trying to poach him before anyone else? Then she turned to look at Dai Hoa and said seriously, Fellow student Dai Hoa, join our Success Martial Guild. Although the Success Martial Guild is smaller than Silver Wolf, I guarantee that if you join, you will receive 15% of our monthly cultivation resources. Her offer caused an uproar in the crowd. Although both Sam and the girl were eagerly trying to recruit him, Dai Hoa remained indifferent. He turned away and said softly, I'm sorry, but I have no intention of joining a martial guild at the moment. The young man shook Sam's hand. Although Sam was a little disappointed, he still replied politely, No problem, Dai Hoa. I invited you to make a friend. If you have any requests in the future, don't hesitate to contact the Silver Wolf team. The girl also spoke up. Our Success Martial Guild is always ready to help as well. Dai Hoa replied frankly, Although I'm not joining, it's always good to have more friends. However, Sam couldn't help but wonder, You used that hand to pick your ear just now, didn't you? Dai Hoa just laughed and replied, Don't worry about it. At that moment, So Chow approached Dai Hoa and said confidently, The beast tide has been pushed back. We can explore this giant forest ourselves now. First, let's get to the treetops to get a full view and then we'll discuss a plan. Dai Hoa simply replied with 2 words, Okay. As soon as he said it, they both leaped up, rushing like the wind. So Chow couldn't help but be amazed by Dai Hoa's speed. He couldn't keep up at all. So fast. A moment later, they both stopped on the red-leaf treetops. So Chow's eyes widened as he stared ahead, completely horrified. What the hell is that? In the distance, massive trees appeared, but what terrified So Chow were the monstrous figures 10 times larger than the trees stepping towards them through the mist. But contrary to So Chow's anxiety, Dai Hoa looked thrilled, his face full of excitement. The more difficult the challenge he faced, the more he enjoyed it, grinning from ear to ear. Dai Hoa said, It's not that hard to imagine, we're still young. In a few years, who's to say we won't be able to conquer the demonic beasts in this mystical land? We might even uncover the truth of this mystical land. Looking at Dai Hoa's confident expression, So Chow couldn't help but admit, That's Dai Hoa for you truly, my friend. I feel afraid of powerful things I don't understand while you're confident you can defeat them. So Chow compared himself to Dai Hoa. He could only think to himself, It seems it's not just on the path of martial arts, but even in terms of willpower, I'm no match for Dai Hoa. You're the true martial artist. Just then, Dai Hoa turned back with a serious expression. He used sonic waves emanating from his temples to scan the area. His expression changed completely. This was no longer the normal Dai Hoa, but a Dai Hoa, who's eager for a fight, hungry for victory. Their demon cores will be mine sooner or later. Then he shifted to a serious demeanor, using his ability to check the distribution of life forms in this mystical land. There's something strange. To the southeast, it's like an amber-colored vacuum. It's all white. There must be monsters there. The bigger the waves, the more precious the fish. He pointed forward, his focus unwavering. Let's go, So Chow. There's a lake to the southeast. Let's hurry and check it out. Dai Hoa and So Chow strolled through the dense forest, when suddenly a familiar voice called out in front of them. It was the girl who had once helped Dai Hoa in the early days when he was buying gene medicine. The moment she saw Dai Hoa, she broke into a bright, friendly smile and greeted him. Well, if it isn't our top scholar, Dai Hoa, I didn't expect you to be so strong. Wu Lei's teammate standing beside her also spoke up with a friendly expression. Whoa, Wu Lei, you even know Antan's top scholar. Another girl from below also looked up and said with a smile, Yeah, hurry up and introduce us. Dai Hoa was so impressive when he defeated that pack of crazed beasts earlier. Dai Hoa quickly approached Wu Lei's team and asked, Wu Lei, how long have you all been here? Wu Lei smiled brightly, came closer, and replied enthusiastically, We just got here. We have 2 teammates who are good swimmers scouting the lake. Right near the lake, a man's head popped out of the water, panting heavily. His 2 hands gripped the grassy bank as he shouted with joy, We've struck it rich! Struck it rich! Hearing this, Vule immediately asked, "How so?" This man was Vule's teammate. He happily announced, "There are ruins at the bottom of the lake we're going to be loaded." Hearing this, Vule was ecstatic and immediately said, "Really, that's awesome, we've struck it rich." At this point, a curious Di Hoa turned to So Chow and asked, "What are ruins? Why are they so excited?" So Chow, who had some knowledge, replied, "In these mystical lands there are ancient structures, probably remnants of a previous civilization. I've heard that modern martial arts and gene technology all originated from there." Suddenly, Vule's teammate's eyes widened. He turned around warily and asked, "Is someone else here?" Thinking they were people with ill intentions towards his group, he was about to draw his sword and charge at the two of them. Before her teammate could act, Vule grabbed his arm, stopping him. "Wait, Vu Duong Di Hoa and So Chow are the champion and runner-up of the An exam. Their strength far surpasses that of ordinary martial artists. Let's have them join us." Di Hoa put on a cool act, slinging an arm over So Chow's shoulder and saying, "That's right, don't be so hasty. We can help explore the ruins." Vu Duong quickly asked about the money first. "So how do we split the loot?" Di Hoa waved his hand dismissively. "We're outside help. We'll get what we earn." Vu Duong had no choice but to swallow his anger and turn back. "Fine, you can join us for now. Don't try anything funny." He reassured himself internally. The champion and the runner-up will become major figures in the future. I shouldn't make enemies of them. A moment later, the entire team dived into the river. Vu Duong led the way since he knew where the ruins were. They continued into a dark cave. Vu Duong said, "The ruins are through this cave." As they ascended, Vu Duong looked around and wondered, "That's strange. Where's Levy? Didn't we tell him to watch this place?" The bald young man on Vule's team guessed maybe he found some treasure and went on ahead. Levy had been tasked with guarding this cave earlier, but now he was nowhere to be found. Vu Duong quickly tried to contact him. "Hello, Levy, can you hear me?" "Hello?" Everyone fell silent to listen for any sign of him. Vule looked worriedly towards the cave entrance and asked, "Did you guys see any traces of demonic beasts in the cave?" Vu Duong replied, "Not at all. We set out demon beast traps but didn't catch a single one." At this point, a girl on Vule's team became frightened and asked, "This is too dangerous. Livy is missing. Should we keep going?" Faced with his female teammate's anxiety, Vu Duong was instead very excited, determined to find the ruins. "Wealth is right in front of us. If we don't dare to take it, we'll be third-rate martial artists for the rest of our lives. If you're scared of dying, get lost. If you want to get rich, stay." At these words, his three teammates fell silent, torn between temptation and fear. Then Vu Duong spoke up. "If no one's backing out, let's go." Vule's group continued deeper into the cave, followed by Di Hoa and So Chow. After a moment, Vu Duong shone his flashlight on the ground and discovered human footprints. Di Hoa looked on with suspicion, then turned and mouthed to So Chow, "Something's not right." So Chow glanced back, mouthing in reply, "You're right, the timing is off." Huang Vule said her team had only just arrived at the lake, which was just over 10 minutes ago. But to have already entered the cave under the lake, passed through the underwater tunnels, and found a secret path to the ruins. It's like they activated a map reveal cheat in a game. It's obviously a trap. Should we warn your acquaintance and get out of here? But just a few seconds later, Di Hoa gave a cryptic smile and whispered, "I have an ace up my sleeve." Not long after, Vu Duong led the group to an area thick with seaweed. Long, sharp strands of seaweed hung down from above. Everyone noticed these seaweed strands were tightly binding human bones. Vu Duong spoke up, "This is a demon core. It's lost its light. Looks like it was drained of its power long ago. No wonder. We barely saw any demonic beasts in the water on the way down. Turns out they've all been devoured." Right behind him, Vule glanced over and whispered to Vu Duong, "Where are the ruins?" Before Vu Duong could answer, the other girl on the team gasped, pointing speechlessly. The group followed her gaze to a horrifying sight. The corpse of one of their teammates was bound tightly by the seaweed strands. His body was shriveled, his life force completely drained. Both girls in the group screamed in terror. "Levi is dead." The color drained from Vule's face. She couldn't believe something like this had happened to her own team. Her eyes were glued to the body, her hands trembling, unsure of what to do. At the same time, Vu Duong, fixated on the ruins, clutched his head and screamed, "Where are the ruins? Why can't I see the ruins?" Suddenly, lumps bulged on his head. His whole body trembled as if having a seizure. His face turned purple and he stammered, How did Levi die?" The vines, I feel it too." Before he could finish, Vu Duong's head exploded. Long sea tentacles sprouted from his neck, swarming upwards. Vule quickly realized the situation. She quickly yelled, "Everyone run!" Just then, a brilliant flash of light appeared. Powerful atomic energy shot straight through Vu Duong's now tentacle-filled head. Vu Duong had completely transformed into a monster. But before he could fully monsterize, Di Hoa had already acted swiftly to contain the situation. "I didn't expect the demonic beast to be this intelligent," Di Hoa said. "It captured 2 martial artists, then parasitized one and used them as bait. We've been led right into its lair." Just then, long tentacles reached for Di Hoa. A pile of rocks suddenly collapsed, blocking the exit. Everyone panicked. "The demonic beast has blocked our escape." It didn't intend to let them escape. So Chow stared directly at the monster and announced seriously to the crowd, "This is a demon phantom vine, a Tier 2 king-level demonic beast." Vule was terrified, drenched in a cold sweat as she stammered. A Tier 2 king level. A king level can't be judged by normal standards. It's not an opponent for us Tier 1 martial artists." Di Hoa, however, remained confident and smiled. "Who cares what tier it is? Watch me crush it! Asterisk, boom, asterisk." An explosion rang out, sending rocks and dust flying everywhere. From within the smoke emerged a tall, muscular man, the same one who had been watching Di Hoa earlier. And he appeared just as Di Hoa was confronting the Tier 2 King Beast. Radiating a powerful aura, the newcomer strode forward and declared, "Di Hoa, I've come to take your life." Everyone was stunned by this man's appearance. And in disbelief, they all shouted at once, "That's Wolf Smoke Blood Chi! He's an 8th Dan martial artist." Di Hoa turned back his expression cold as he asked nonchalantly, "So there's someone else targeting me?" The big guy began to recount in detail how he had tracked Di Hoa. "I heard someone was using radioactive energy to fight the beast tide at Kong Thu Mountain, and I knew right away it was you. All I had to do was follow the radioactive trail to find you. I held my breath and followed you all the way to this cave." "I can't believe I was discovered. You even used those large rocks to block the entrance and stop me. I completely stopped my heartbeat and breathing to feign death, yet you still noticed. Just as expected from the one who cornered the Huo family's relatives and drove them to a dead end." Seeing this man put in so much effort just to find him, Di Hoa glanced at him puzzled and then asked, Old man, who are you? You just barged in here spouting a bunch of weird stuff on your own. Do we even know each other?" The unexpected question made the guy snap. He furiously lunged forward to attack. "Stop playing dumb, Dai!" His fist gathered a massive amount of energy as he aimed for Di Hoa's head. But before he could strike, several of the demonic beast's tentacles suddenly blocked his path. The guy could only stand there, fuming helplessly as he roared, "This is the Demon Phantom Vine's lair! You dare lure me in here and use a demonic beast against me?" He was so enraged he lost all reason, unable to control his emotions. "Damn it, was this your plan all along?" Di Hoa watched him without answering, simply standing with his arms crossed as he observed the man desperately struggling against the demonic beast which was relentlessly beating him breathless. "You dare trick me!" he roared in fury. Di Hoa remained motionless, watching calmly. "This guy's really creative," Di Hoa thought to himself, "to come up with all this on our first meeting." The demonic beast's vines continuously wrapped around him, irritating him so much that he unleashed his power, focusing all his energy to break the harassing vines. "So annoying, my target is you. It's not these vines." The surrounding scene grew more chaotic as the other guy fought so fiercely that the entire cave began to shake, threatening to collapse at any moment. Standing behind them, Vule shouted anxiously, "This is bad! The cave is about to collapse!" She turned to see Di Hoa standing there. Activating his diabolic emperor form, he began to gather nuclear energy, preparing a powerful attack. As he channeled the energy, a brilliant sphere formed powerful enough to shatter stone. Water began to flood in. Di Hoa pointed to the side and said quickly, "Vule, everyone go on ahead." The whole team quickly left, but the troublemaker refused to give up and charged at Di Hoa. Just then, So Chow appeared swinging his sword to block his path. "As long as I'm here, don't you even dream of touching Di Hoa?" The man wasn't scared at all and laughed contemptuously. "Ha ha, you little brat! I'm an 8th Dan martial artist. What are these little ice cubes gonna do to me?" But before he could do anything else, Di Hoa had already lunged forward with a powerful fist. Without a moment's hesitation, he thrust it toward the man's face. "Hey, nosy old man, where are you looking?" The man looked up just in time to see Di Hoa's fist about to slam into his face with no time to react. As a result, a single blow from Di Hoa slammed the man flat onto the ground. The light from the punch was so bright it illuminated the entire cave. Dehoa didn't want So Chow to get hurt because of him. He turned back to So Chow and said, "You go on ahead. That guy's too strong, you can't handle him." After that, the young man turned back his gaze completely serious. "Let me handle him. He's already tired and staggering after taking one of my punches." Right. The group followed the direction Dehoa had pointed and swam back to the shore. Vule's team was safe while the devil vine thrashed about in a frenzy, churning up the lake bed. A moment later, when So Chow swam ashore, Vule asked worriedly, "Where's Dehoa?" So Chow didn't answer, his expression sad. He just turned his head to look toward the underwater cave, silently indicating he was still over there. Back in the cave, Dehoa's shock waves were tearing everything apart, releasing an incredibly powerful nuclear energy. He was straining to activate a new form now that everyone was gone. Only then did he dare to use the newly updated Titan form from his system. As soon as it was activated, the young man quickly used a giant Titan hand to crush the stranger. In just a moment, that large man floated to the surface of the water, his entire body bruised and heavily injured. The shock waves from Dehoa also made everyone on the surface unsteady. So Chow saw Dehoa's giant silhouette, and his eyes widened, trying to peer through the commotion in utter confusion. A moment later, Dehoa returned to his normal form and swam closer to the shore, propping his hands up on the grassy bank completely naked. When So Chow saw him, he ran over, calling out, "Dehoa!" At that moment, Dehoa didn't dare climb onto the shore and just said, "So Chow, can I borrow a set of clothes?" A short while later, the young man was dressed and sat down. Facing an interrogation from the others, So Chow immediately asked, "What was that explosion just now?" Dehoa wearily sat down to rest and answered, "It was that mysterious martial artist. He had a plasma bomb and committed suicide, taking the devil vine with him." So Chow was stunned. "A plasma bomb, isn't that a banned military item? How could he have gotten one? I think that explosion was even more powerful than a plasma bomb." However, So Chow was still suspicious. He wondered aloud, "And through the smoke, I think I saw a giant figure." Afraid of being found out, Dehoa went pale, broke into a sweat, and quickly denied it. No way, it must have been a hallucination. Dehoa let out a sigh of relief, thinking to himself, "Phew, looks like I fooled them." It wouldn't be good if they found out about his monster template ability. He had gone a little too far when he crushed that martial artist to get the devil vine's magic core. Everything was settled now. It was time to part ways with Vule's group. She waved goodbye to Dehoa. "We'll be heading out first. We're sorry for making you come all this way for nothing and for having to save us on top of that. We'll compensate you once we're out of the secret realm." Dehoa, also very polite and enthusiastic, waved back in response. "Don't mention it, Vule. Just consider it me paying you back for helping me last time. If you compensate me, I'll just end up in your debt again." Now only Dehoa and So Chow remained. The two of them put on serious expressions, looked at each other, and then said quietly in unison, "Now it's time for some fun monster hunting." 3 days later, at the entrance to the Kong Thu Sun's secret realm, Dehoa and So Chow had finally cleared the dungeon. The two of them jumped out, and as soon as their feet hit the ground, they looked up in disbelief. The desolate mountain from 3 days ago had now become a small town. A large airplane flew overhead. They were both astonished. It's only been a few days, and they've already built a small town. There's even a cargo plane! The construction capabilities of the Xia Kingdom are truly terrifying. Rushing to the exchange counter, Dehoa slammed his bag of spirit stones onto the table. The female staff member reminded him, "Sir, please be gentle. If the items are damaged, you'll be the one at a loss." Dehoa scratched his head awkwardly. "Sorry, but I'm carrying way too much stuff. If I don't get it out quickly, it'll be hard to finish checking it all." The woman behind the counter answered enthusiastically, "Please rest assured we're professionals." Dehoa breathed a sigh of relief, took the spatial ring from his hand, and relaxed, saying 2 simple words, "All right then." At that moment, many large bags of spirit stones, just like the first one, were brought out. He counted each bag, and as he took out the final one, he breathed a sigh of relief. The last bag. But looking around the exchange, clerk's face went pale. The bags of spirit stones were piled so high that she was stunned. The girl asked in a trembling voice, "Sir, is that all of it?" Dehoa looked the girl straight in the eye and gave a dangerous smile, his sharp gaze seemingly pressuring her to work faster. "That's all of it, but you girls better hurry up. We still have a lot of spirit medicines, too." In the trading hall, the atmosphere was bustling with the excited chatter of people. A group gathered around a table, marveling at the spirit stones Dehoa had brought back. "Oh my God, This is a 7-star leaf at least 300 years old. This kind of spirit medicine is incredibly rare. Even professional herb collectors have trouble finding it. What kind of luck does this kid have? He even found 6 boxes of fire element, the main ingredient for refining Sea of Chi pills. Just this batch of spirit medicines alone, even if they're low quality, would be worth at least 30 million. The rarer types are even more expensive. This martial artist is so lucky. He became a tycoon overnight. Old Shu looked around and suddenly spoke up. Are you going senile? Getting this many spirit herbs can't be just luck. A guy like him is someone you absolutely shouldn't cross. Dihoa, standing in a far corner observing their attitudes, mumbled to himself. These white and green cores are useless to me now. Just right to exchange them all for cash. He smiled, his voice dark and dangerous. 5 green magic cores from the Tier 3 demonic beasts in the monster tide, and a Tier 2 demonic ghost vine magic core. The king species one with the golden patterns is the most valuable. A moment later, a notification from the bank beeped. Asterisk beep beep. Bank card credited 27,507,000 win. Dihoa casually stuffed his hands into his pockets. Walking out of the transaction room, he mumbled, calculating his next move. The magic cores are taken care of. Now I just need to find a buyer for the spirit herbs and I'll be set. Suddenly, an expensive car pulled up right in front of him. Dihoa looked up, wondering whose car it was. An older man got out of the car, strode over confidently, and said with a smile, Hello, Dihoa. I am Li Yudian, the owner of Binhoa Pharmacy. I heard you have a lot of spirit herbs from Gongshu Mountain. I'll buy them for 1% above the market price. Dihoa glanced at him, a slight smirk on his face, not particularly interested in the man's offer, but in his mind he was calculating quickly. Those old guys at the appraisal center must have leaked the information. It doesn't matter that the news about me got out. I needed to sell them anyway, so having a buyer come to me is perfect. He agreed to sell on the spot. After finishing the purchase, Mr. Lee turned back to remind him, Next time you have spirit herbs, remember to find me. Dihoa watched him go, holding his phone. Asterisk beep beep. Bank card credited an additional 7,450,064 yuan. Looking at the amount added to his account, he muttered, All this money, it's not even as good as a 10% increase in my power. Personal martial strength is the ultimate truth. The gene medicines and the white or green magic cores on the market are useless now. Then Dihoa sighed wearily and complained, my template is even pickier than its master. I don't even have the right to purchase high-level things like the blood jade fruit or high-grade gene medicines. Suddenly an idea struck him. Dihoa looked up, his eyes sparkling. There is another way. He recalled the exam. I completely crushed Liu Qingzhu thanks to the power of my frenzied emperor Dema la Template. But when it comes to combat skills, I'm way behind those who specialize in martial arts. So what I need to do now is get some extremely powerful combat skills. With that, Dihoa took off at full speed, running like a wild horse and shouting, Hey, old man, I'm here to ask for a little gold. Scene change, Antan High School. The principal's office. A cup of hot tea was being poured. Dihoa had gone straight to the principal's tea table. The principal doted on him personally, massaging Dihoa's shoulders and saying, Dihoa, I didn't expect you to remember your old school. Dihoa turned with a cheerful, sheepish smile. Principal, don't be a stranger. The principal nodded. That's right. You're the top scorer, a role model for all of Antan. But this champion of ours is here with a scheme to make more money. Dihoa then pulled out a large bottle of ginseng wine, presented it to the principal, and said gently, Teacher, just a little medicinal wine from Binhoa Pharmacy. It's not a bribe. It's just a small token of my sincere respect for my elder. The moment he saw that fragrant wine, the principal's eyes lit up like headlights. He beamed. Dihoa, you truly are a good student. You know how to respect your teacher. After presenting the bottle, Dihoa didn't forget to add, Principal, I want to learn some powerful combat skills. Do you have any connections? The principal, hugging the wine bottle, replied, You haven't entered university yet, so you can only rely on the martial clans for help. You've already been accepted into Huadu University. Why not wait until you start school? What's the rush? Dihoa looked at the principal with a passionate expression. Principal, I want to improve faster. The principal could only nod in agreement. All right, then. I can help you with an introduction for this. After all, you are a special talent. We educators, of course, must teach students according to their individual abilities. We can't just keep hitting a dead end by being too rigid. Dihoa leaned in close and whispered a few words into the principal's ear, making the man grin widely. The principal said, That's right, the rules may be fixed, but people have to be flexible. The education sector is truly blessed to have people like you, teacher, who understand the need for change. The old teacher squirmed with delight. You're too kind, haha. The next day, Dihoa was in his room taking a shower, his muscular body dripping wet when he answered his phone. Dihoa, it's done. You can go right away, the principal informed him. Dihoa replied. Thank you, teacher. Which martial clan is it? Dihoa's eyes widened in surprise as he heard the answer, and he exclaimed, Huh. The Liu family of Antan. They agreed to teach me their secret techniques. Scene changed the outskirts of Antan. A man was riding a motorcycle at extremely high speed with a blonde girl behind him. The girl's hair flew out like a ponytail as she said, slightly scared, Gee, you're driving so fast, this is terrifying? The man smirked, trying to act cool. It's about to get even crazier. Just as they were enjoying the moment, a familiar voice rang out from behind. Hey, buddy, if you're going to ride fast, you should focus. Reckless driving can get people hurt. His reminder startled the young man and woman in front. They turned back to look with confusion. The man in front, furious that his moment was ruined, opened his mouth to curse. What the hell, are you insane? You scared the crap out of me. You dare to race me on that piece of junk bicycle? As soon as he finished speaking, he yanked the throttle and shot off like a rocket, leaving Dihoa in the dust with his taunts. The couple sped down the main road, leaving insults in their wake. Their excited whoops echoed back. Babe, you're so cool, so manly. Dihoa looked at them with contempt, feeling annoyed. He glared after them, unable to stand their tone. Suddenly, a powerful burst of energy exploded forth, startling the man and woman ahead. Their hearts pounded in their chests as if they were about to leap out. Whoever said a bicycle was just a normal bike? Our boy Dihoa here is practically using nuclear power. With just one strong push of the pedals, his bike zips past the couple with ease. He even throws out a parting shot, "Get lost, you flies." Dihoa shot off like a rocket, kicking up a long trail of dust behind him. In just a few seconds, he had vanished from sight. The couple was so scared they were drenched in a cold sweat. I can't believe my eyes. Are bikes really this fast now? The girl on the back trembled and stammered. That was as fast as an airplane. In less than 5 minutes, Dihoa had arrived. He stopped his bicycle and looked up. Before him stood the gate to a vast estate exuding an air of wealth and power. He stood alone before the massive gate, his gaze thoughtful. So this is a martial clan, he murmured, then used his powers to scan the surrounding energy. Even the force field contained several terrifying auras. Just then, the main gate opened and Liu Qingju stepped out, waving to Dihoa. She smiled in a friendly way, but seemed a bit shy and didn't dare make it too wide. You're here. Dihoa looked at her, a faint smile on his lips, and teased, Not happy to see me. Qingju blushed and quickly denied it. No, that's not it. This Dihoa guy pressed on. So you are happy to see me then? She quickly looked down, getting ready to lead the way. Mother told me to come greet you. Let's go meet her now. Dihoa followed Qingju inside. Just stepping through the main gate, the gate alone, was enough to display their staggering wealth. Qingju lifted her head and called out, Mother Dihoa is here! At the top of a high staircase, a woman in high heels slowly descended. It was Qin Lan, the head of the Liu family. She had wavy platinum blonde hair, full lips, and a captivating beauty. She spoke up, Welcome, Dihoa. The moment Dihoa saw her, his face flushed bright red and his whole body began to let off steam like an electric kettle, and that was him trying his best to suppress it. A craving voice unconsciously echoed in his mind, Your Excellency, the Prime Minister, I have finally realized the truth. After losing the match, Liu Qingju returned home. Facing her mother, who always held high expectations for her, the room was strangely silent. Neither spoke for a long time. Finally, Qingju broke the silence. Her eyes were sad on the verge of tears. Mother, she began. However, contrary to Qingju's fears, her mother simply crossed her arms gently, not seeming overly concerned. She then told Qingju not to worry. She spoke frankly, I watched the live broadcast of your duel with that boy named Dihoa. You did very well. Dihoa's abilities would make him a dark horse even at the capital city tournament. You don't need to blame yourself. Qingju was surprised that her mother was validating her without any pressure. She stood there, her hands trembling. She was filled with self-reproach, feeling she was too weak. At that moment, her mother stood up, her eyes growing serious as she spoke about the future of the Liu family. Your younger brother's abilities are limited. He cannot take over the Liu family. In your generation, you are the only one who can bear this responsibility. She walked closer to Qingju, stroking her beautiful face as she continued. But you are a daughter, and what's more, you were born this way. She continued to lay out the harsh truth about the Liu family's current state. Your father died young. The Liu family no longer has a grandmaster supporting it, and our clan's power is waning. So much so that we are stuck here in this small city of Ancheng. If a great clan demanded a marriage alliance with you, we wouldn't be able to refuse. That would mean the Liu family would be devoured by another, and our 100-year legacy would be handed over to someone else. That's why I want you two to be together. What do you think? Qingju was completely taken aback. She had never even considered such a thing. Her cheeks flushed, and her heart began to race. Liu Qingju's mother seriously explained her perspective. That Dihua, he's quite remarkable. Outstanding talent, a simple background, and a limitless future. From what I've seen, he's not a wicked person. You don't need to give me an answer right now. Just spend some time with him and see what happens. Back in the present, Dihua was at Liu Qingju's house, standing before her beautiful queen-like mother. Upon seeing him, she warmly stepped forward to welcome Dihua to the Liu residence. Dihua, feeling a little awkward, bowed his head respectfully. Ahem. Greetings, ma'am. I brought a small gift. How thoughtful. Dihua even brought a gift to the Liu house. Could he be trying to butter her up? Without beating around the bush, Liu Qingju's mother looked up and asked directly, I heard from the principal of First High that you want to learn some advanced martial techniques. Is that correct? Dihua answered obediently, Yes, ma'am. She immediately told her daughter to take Dihua with her. This caught Dihua by surprise. He stole a glance upward, wondering, why did she agree so quickly? Then Liu Qingju's mother casually stepped closer to Dihua. Qingju will lead you to the Liu family's martial arts pavilion. It contains forbidden techniques that must not leave the premises, so you will have only one day to learn. Deep within the martial arts pavilion are 3 sets of Xuanhuang martial skills. Whether or not you can learn them is up to your own abilities. With her permission, Dihua bowed respectfully to the Liu matriarch. Yes, thank you, Liu family. She gave Dihua a cryptic look and thought to herself, he thanks the Liu family, not me, Qinlan. It seems he's already committed himself to the Liu family. Very good. Dihua, the Liu family will hold you to that promise in the future. Liu Qingju's mother smiled with satisfaction as she looked at him, a very intelligent child. The more she looked at him, the more she liked what she saw. Meanwhile, Dihua had no idea why she was giving him such a peculiar look. You just felt that her gaze was somehow special. Tang Truk also noticed her mother's attitude, but didn't dare say anything. A moment later, she led Dihua to the martial arts hall. The path led to a dark tunnel. Tang Truk walked ahead, leading the way, while Dihua trailed behind her small figure. Suddenly, Dihua stopped and asked curiously, Classmate Tang Truk, why do I get the feeling you're always avoiding my gaze? Tang Truk jumped, not daring to turn her head, and stammered, I'm not. But Dihua, with a mischievous grin, edged closer and continued to tease her. At that, Tang Truk's face turned beet red, too embarrassed to speak as she tried to create some distance from Dihua. She yelled, You! What the hell are you doing getting so close? Dihua just laughed. Ha ha, swaying back and forth. A moment later, Tang Truk led Dihua to a large, solid stone door. They both looked up as Tang Truk turned to explain. This is a stone gate made from force-dissipating stone, a special kind of rock mined from a secret realm. It can neutralize the attack of a mystic martial master without shattering. Dihua hesitated. Can I punch it? Tang Truk narrowed her eyes. Go ahead. She said it out loud, but inwardly she was baffled by how strange Dihua's thinking was. Shouldn't he be marveling at how incredible this stone is? With Tang Truk's permission, Dihua began to gather atomic energy in his palm, emitting that familiar blue light. He clenched his fist and drew on immense power. She couldn't help but recall the terrifying blows he had delivered in the arena the moment he began his motion. The blue light from his fist made her eyes widen again. Frightening memories flooded her mind. She didn't dare to look, turning away and shutting her eyes, afraid that the sight would terrify her once more. Just then, the energy was fully gathered. Dihua slammed his fist into the solid gate before him. An extremely powerful surge of energy radiated from his punch, causing the entire tunnel to shake. He thought this punch would destroy everything, causing a world-shaking explosion. But when his fist touched the door, the energy suddenly vanished. The air fell silent. Everything was strangely quiet. Suddenly, Liu Tang Truk couldn't hold it in any longer and started giggling, covering her mouth with her hand while Dihua just stood there, stunned, not understanding why there was no reaction from the door. It felt as if that punch was just a light tap against the stone wall. It was like punching the ocean. The force was almost completely absorbed, leaving no impact whatsoever. Tan Truk couldn't help but laugh out loud. "Let's go. I'll take you inside. There will definitely be some interesting martial arts for you tonight." She smiled, thinking to herself, "Hehehe. Di-Hoa, you finally met your match." The door opened with the family head personally letting Di-Hoa inside a vast secret chamber containing countless documents and materials on martial arts. Tan Truk began to introduce them. The martial arts here include movement techniques, defense body hardening, and sword arts. Then she asked gently, "Which one do you want to learn?" "It's simple. You just need to use this personal card to unlock the permissions." Di-Hoa didn't hesitate to ask, "Where are the Xuanhuang martial arts?" She led him to an area with a modern card scanner and said, "The Xuanhuang martial arts are in the deepest part of this small stone vault. You have to scan your card for that too, but you won't be able to comprehend it right away. At most, you'll only learn a tiny bit. I don't think it was necessarily a good thing for Mother to grant you access. I can help you pick a few fist techniques that suit your abilities." Di-Hoa didn't stop, instead jumping closer to her. He smiled teasingly. "Are you worried about me?" Tan Truk grew annoyed, her face turning red as she thought, "I don't want to talk to this guy anymore." Di-Hoa continued, "You don't need to worry about me. I know what I'm doing. If I'm going to learn something, it has to be the strongest. Since the Xuanhuang martial arts are here, I can't just pass them up. If I did that, I might as well just go home obediently." He then asked curiously, "Is this door made of black force-dissipating stone?" Tan Truk slowly entered the password and replied, "Yes, it has to be strictly guarded for the Xuanhuang martial arts vault. This black force-dissipating stone is extremely rare. It's not something you can get easily." Tan Truk continued to remind him to collect this type of stone. The Liu family started all the way back in my great-grandfather's generation. Inside, there are many highly secure safes. They are heavily protected, and on each safe are the words, "Fleshly body, imprisoned demon," she proactively explained before Di-Hoa could ask. Learning Xuanhuang martial arts isn't just about watching. It's about feeling the creator's will pass down through the art. If you can't feel it, or if the learner's elemental attributes conflict with its meaning, then it's impossible to cultivate it. Xuanhuang martial arts are living things. It's not the learner who chooses the art, but the art that chooses the learner. The more Di-Hoa listened, the more excited he became, a wide grin spreading across his face. In that case, for fleshly body imprisoned demon, I am the chosen one for this martial art. Then, a fleshly body imprisoned demon safe opened. Di-Hoa's presence at that moment seemed even more frightening than the object in the safe. He stood firm, hands in his pockets, his eyes shining with anticipation. Suddenly, his expression changed, worry clearly showing. Xuanhuang martial arts aren't books but statues. Before him was a statue of a mutated demonic monster sitting on a corpse and stepping on the heads of those it had slain. Di-Hoa glanced back warily, wondering to himself, "Is this what they call sensing the martial will? Have I entered the world of martial will now?" He recalled the past. At that time, Di-Hoa had exclaimed in surprise, "Xuanhuang martial arts aren't books but statues." Liu Tan Truk stepped forward to explain, "It's not just statues. They can also be paintings or artifacts. Anything can become a vessel for the martial will. This is the mystical power of a grandmaster." She explained further in a serious tone, "Only a grandmaster can condense their martial will and infuse it into an item to pass it down to their descendants." Then Liu Tan Truk coldly turned her back to leave. "From here on, you're on your own." Confused, Di-Hoa turned his head and asked, "Rely on myself. Hey sis, you haven't even told me how to learn this thing." Her eyes held a hidden meaning, the corners of her mouth lifting slightly. "Feel the martial aura. If you're fated to, you will feel it." He was completely clueless, a blank look on his face. Frustrated, Di-Hoa flopped down and said nonchalantly, "So if I'm destined for it, that's all it takes, right? In that case, I'll take a nap." In the monitoring room, Liu Qingzhu saw his every move. She trembled with anger, her hands clenched into fists, cursing, "Di-Hoa, it's just like you, isn't it?" Back in reality, Di-Hoa grumbled to himself, bored. "Is this martial aura world some kind of mental world? Right now, I don't have a single shred of martial energy. I can't even initiate the nuclear reaction of the Demora model. It seems I'm back to being a weak, ordinary human again." Suddenly, a mechanical voice rang out. The system instantly appeared with the notification, detecting host's consciousness in a special space. To prevent the host's sudden death, the control panel will maintain the host's spiritual body. He sighed in relief. Well, at least my monster template is still here. Suddenly, a man appeared on the statue's broken arm. He laughed loudly and said, "My martial arts can only be inherited by a true man, otherwise I'd rather let them rot in the ground." Dihoa turned his head in shock to look at him. Liu Chenghu looked down from above with a sly, challenging grin. "Kid, prove to me that you're a real man." He gasped, thinking to himself in astonishment, "This guy, he looks exactly like the statue." A bolt of lightning flashed by. The man remained perched high above, saying, "When the thunderstorm hits, the night parade of 100 demons will begin. At that time, you will guard this ruined temple for me. Do not allow this bodhisattva statue to be defiled by those evil demons. Succeed, and I might reluctantly pass on my skills to you. Fail, and your mind will be torn to shreds by the 100 demons, and you'll never walk the martial path again. If you're just a weak little brat, then hurry up and run." Drops of water began to leak from the ceiling, landing on the tip of Dihoa's nose. He wondered, is it raining? Looks like the test has begun. Liu Chenghu vanished. The raindrops began to fall harder. He slowly tightened his grip on the sword in his hand. Instantly, Dihoa was surrounded by demons. He showed not a hint of fear, instead glaring back at them defiantly. The demons lunged like hungry tigers. Dihoa took a battle stance, felling the fiends with decisive slashes of his sword. A murderous glint flashed in Dihoa's eyes as he slashed forward. He suddenly broke into a cunning grin. "Just as I thought. A trial wouldn't make a martial artist fight 100 demons bare-handed. There must be a hidden trick to it." With that, he charged into the horde. Thunder and lightning roared across the sky. Dihoa swung his sword wildly as if dancing among the demonic swarm. Liu Chenghu, who was watching from the rooftop, let out a derisive sneer. "The 100 demons in this martial aura trial carry my own killing intent. For a lowly martial apprentice to dare step outside the temple's protection, he's truly seeking death. It seems the one taking the trial this time is another fool. Martial artists truly get weaker with each passing generation. Every time I have to be the one to clean up their corpses." The demons attacked Dihoa relentlessly. Suddenly, one took advantage of an opening and struck from behind. But his skill was on a completely different level. He easily dodged the surprise attack. Even the man couldn't comprehend Dihoa's skill, exclaiming, "The demons! They can't even get close to him!" As the demons stood there stunned, Dihoa looked at his own hands in confusion and muttered, "It seems that in this mental world, the control panel automatically protects its master, making me impossible to attack. Isn't this basically invincibility, Liu Chenghu?" Watched as Dihoa annihilated nearly all the demons in just a few moves. His eye twitched. This kid, how can he be completely unaffected by the martial aura? How in the world is he doing it? Dihoa pouted his lips tauntingly. "It's nothing special, just diligent, hard training, that's all." The demons, now terrified, began to back away. Liu Chenghu's voice rang out, "Spoken like a truly diligent, hard trainer. If you can subdue all 100 demons, I will naturally not go back on my word. I will pass this legacy on to you, but we'll have to see if you can even receive it." Dihoa just stood there silently in the downpour. The statue suddenly crumbled, revealing a well. Inside, mysterious little specks of light swirled. Dihoa placed one foot on the edge of the well and peered down. The man continued his explanation. "In this well lies the essence of the killing intent I condensed throughout my life. The demon imprisoning flesh technique is also at the bottom. If you can refine it, before Liu Chenghu could finish." Dihoa leaped into the well without a moment's hesitation. The man was left speechless by his brazen attitude, managing to say a few words to save face. "Good, good, good. This is the first time I've ever seen a junior with such character." In Chenghu's memories, he himself had once been #1 in his prime, a world-renowned hero who had conquered an S-rank secret realm all thanks to the demon-imprisoning flesh technique. But he also died because of the demon-imprisoning flesh. As he grew old, his chi and blood began to weaken. The killing intent and resentful souls that Liu Chenghu had suppressed in his body began to backlash. He suffered from chi deviation, even slaughtering those close to him. To keep from making any more mistakes, I could only end my own life. Before dying, Liu Chenghu fused all the killing intent and resentful souls from his body with his martial aura, forging them into this statue as a vessel. Although 100 years have passed and much of the killing intent in this martial aura space has dissipated, it is still not something a mere martial apprentice could possibly withstand. If Dihoa can subdue this killing intent, he will surely surpass my old self on the path of the demon-imprisoning flesh. In the monitoring room, Liu Qingju and Qinlan were also present. Her eyes suddenly widened in utter shock. She hurriedly asked Qinlan, "Mom, what is happening?" On the screen, they saw Di Hoa writhing in what seemed to be agonizing pain. In the monitoring room, Liu Qingju and Qinlan kept watching Di Hoa through the screen. She stared without blinking, filled with anxiety and confusion. Just a moment ago, Di Hoa was sound asleep, a smug smile on his face as if he were having a pleasant dream, but now his whole body is suddenly convulsing. Qinlan calmly took a drag from her cigarette and explained, "This third Zhuanhuang rank martial technique is something your grandfather stumbled upon by chance, in his old age. He tried to cultivate it, but unexpectedly, even with his grandmaster-level cultivation, he was directly rejected by the martial will within this statue. He was repelled and suffered internal injuries. From then on, no one in the Liu family has been able to successfully cultivate this technique. If it is an extraordinary power, then the method to obtain it must not be something an ordinary person can endure. To wear the crown, one must first bear its weight. If Di Hoa has chosen to accept the power of this martial technique, then he..." In the secret chamber, Di Hoa woke up stretched and even yawned a few times. This entire sequence was captured by the two in the monitoring room. Liu Qingju gave a strained smile and said, "Mom, Di Hoa's training doesn't seem as intense as you described." Qinlan was left speechless. Inside the chamber, Di Hoa bowed respectfully before the statue and said, "Thank you, Senior, for passing on your art." The true spirit within the statue replied telepathically, "Kid, you are the greatest genius I have ever met. Perhaps you can uncover the true secret of this mystic realm. That is something we seniors were never able to accomplish. Now I'm entrusting it to the younger generation like you." But unexpectedly, Di Hoa turned away and grinned, saying, "You've got the wrong guy, Senior. I'm just using a hack." Di Hoa smiled smugly, his body enveloped in a boundless power. He cracked his knuckles and said, "Flesh and blood demon prison body like an Asura, although my stats on the status screen haven't increased at all. Now that I've mastered a Zhuanhuang rank technique, my combat power is at least double what it was before." Outside, Liu Qingju and her mother rushed in. Qinlan asked Di Hoa, "You've mastered it." He struck a cool pose, gave a wave, and said with a grin, "That's right, I've mastered it." She couldn't believe her eyes, saying in astonishment, "How is that possible, even with Qingju's talent just to get a preliminary grasp?" Out of a Zhuanhuang rank technique, she would have to stay awake in the martial will space for an entire week. "Di Hoa, how long did it take you?" "Just 1 hour. You can really learn it just by taking a nap." Liu Qingju simply observed Di Hoa's calm and composed demeanor and marveled to herself, "Everyone calls me a genius, but the real genius is standing right here." He showed off confidently. "It seems you two don't believe me, huh? Then let me give you a demonstration." Di Hoa just had to power up and an immense force enveloped the entire space. This is the killing intent I comprehended from within the martial will world. If I had to explain it, it's like an enchantment effect in a video game. It can be applied to my martial weapon, greatly increasing its damage. With that said, Di Hoa threw a punch, his powerful arm carrying destructive force. It even crackled with a few sparks of lightning. Liu Qingju was mesmerized, standing there in a daze, thinking, "The power fluctuation is so strong. I think I can hear a screeching sound within it like a demon's cry. Perhaps this is the killing intent Di Hoa was talking about." Witnessing such terrifying power, Qinlan seemed rejuvenated. She placed a hand on her cheek and said seductively, "Di Hoa, you really are." Seeing how over the top she was being, Di Hoa's mouth twitched as he thought to himself, "Ma'am, your daughter is still standing right here. Could you restrain yourself a little? I don't want to get a reputation as that asterisk kind of guy." Liu Qingju spoke up asking, "Classmate Di Hoa, since you've already mastered one Zhuanhuang rank martial technique, do you want to learn the remaining 2? You still have 1 day left to learn." She blushed and smiled shyly. At this, Qinlan, standing to the side, covered her face in despair, thinking, "My dear daughter, are you pretending to be naive, or are you really this naive? One moment you say you don't want to be with Di Hoa, and the next you're handing over our family's assets to him." Although I was already planning on investing in Di Hoa and was prepared to accept him as my precious son-in-law, you can't just offer up all of the Liu family's assets to him at once like this. He bluntly refused. "No need, classmate Qingju. One Zhuanhuang rank technique is already more than enough for me to digest for a long time. I won't be learning any more techniques. Auntie, I'm a bit tired and I have a few things to take care of at home." She rubbed her chin and agreed, then turned to her daughter. "In that case, Qingju, you can see Di Hoa home." I heard from the butler that you came on a public bike. Do you know how to drive? Go to the garage and pick a car. It'll be more convenient for you anyway. Hearing this, he recalled the flashy biker he met on his way here who mocked him for being poor. Dehoa thought resentfully, a car, huh? Speaking of which, I saw a pretty cool guy on a motorcycle earlier. So cool and stylish, he asked enthusiastically and very naturally. Auntie, do you have any motorcycles? Chinlan replied, oh, you like motorcycles, Dehoa. You're just like my troublesome son who always makes me worry. How about I give you his most prized one, outside the estate? Tan Lam Kiet wandered around muttering to himself. I heard from housekeeper Hongyi that Mom invited another live-in son-in-law. Let's see what kind of character this one is. My sister is both beautiful and talented, a rare genius beauty of Incity, the kind you see once a century. Not just any ordinary man is worthy of her. Suddenly he thought of Dehoa. He got angry and cursed. That damn kid on the public bike from earlier. He scared off the girl I was hitting on. Don't let me see you again. As he finished speaking, a motorcycle sped past Kiet. His face twisted, his eyes went wide, and he stammered. The person who just passed, wasn't that the guy on the bike from earlier? And what's more, the thing he's riding is my motorcycle. Night fell when Dehoa finally got home. He left the motorcycle outside. Dehoa quickly prepared dinner. On the table was only a bowl of demon cores and a small bowl of dipping sauce. The last time he ate a demon core raw, the taste was incredibly bland. Dehoa smugly picked up his chopsticks and said expectantly, this time let's add a little soul-dipping sauce to enhance the flavor. Dehoa picked up a demon core, soaked it thoroughly in the sauce, and put it in his mouth. I'll eat a blue one first. The mechanical voice sounded again, and the system appeared. Host Dehoa. Composite Physique 23.8, Raging Tyrant, Demolapper Monster, Template Compatibility 21%, Supergiant Transformation Monster Template Compatibility 85%, Distributable points available, your body is now overflowing with energy. Dehoa sat reading the system panel muttering, my stats have increased, I can distribute the points now. Last time in the Gongshao Mountain Secret Realm, I used the Supergiant Transformation Monster Template. I was about 50 meters tall. While that's giant compared to normal demon beasts compared to the mysterious spirit creature in the Gongshou's secret realm, which was as big as a mountain range, I was still too small. He was still not satisfied. He pressed a button and said, I need to be bigger. He put all his points into the giant monster template, then picked up another demon core drenched in sauce. Let's add a yellow core from a level 2 ghost demon. Dehoa's entire body was submerged in an immense power that even radiated outwards. The system panel displayed again, Raging Tyrant Demolapper Monster Template is absorbing the gene chain of a special plant organism. A specific mutation is occurring. Does the host wish to stop the mutation process? His eyes widened in shock as he asked, a mutation? Dehoa returned to his normal state, rubbing his chin and mumbling, a mutation means it will become a monster template with different attributes. If the attributes are beneficial, that would be great. But if they're detrimental, then it's a reverse evolution. After thinking for a moment, he made a decision saying, but hey, you only live once. Time for a high-risk, high-reward play. He pressed the Y button. The system displayed, congratulations, host, for unlocking the S-rank isotope monster template. Instantly, a massive demon beast appeared. He stared in shock, his jaw on the floor, looking up at the huge demon beast before him. The system panel showed another notification. When the Raging Tyrant Demolapper template reaches 100%, there is a 2% chance to class change into a Star Pillar Demolapper. The Demolapper looked incredibly ferocious. As he read the information on the system, he laughed with delight, clenched his fist, and muttered to himself, Star Pillar Demolapper. Just the name alone sounds powerful. But the current template needs to reach 100%. I have to hurry up and upgrade it. Suddenly, a loud explosion sounded from outside. Dehoa looked out the window curiously. He frowned and wondered what the hell is going on. A terrorist attack! Outside, police and special vehicles blared their sirens. An officer shouted a warning. Block all entrances and exits to the area. Don't let them escape. Search every last corner for me. Inside, Dehoa could also hear the commotion. He glanced cautiously behind him and said, the original owner of this body was a weirdo with no close friends who would visit at this hour. I didn't order any food or packages either, so who could be outside now? A woman appeared, leaping onto Dehoa's windowsill. It was Yao Nan Mai. He gave her a sharp look and asked, and who might you be? Yao Nan Mai looked down on him and replied, it seems you're no ordinary martial artist, little boy. Through the mask. She was looking at Dehoa with a meaningful gaze. Yao Nan Mai said, Originally, your big sister just planned on hiding something here, and conveniently edit your memory, that's all. But since you've discovered me, you'll just have to endure a little pain, okay? Remember now, don't even think about running away. Dehoa was too bored to even turn around. He looked down at his shadow and mumbled, whatever, with all the savings I have. I can just buy a new house. She didn't understand what he said and asked again, what did you say? Dehoa struck a Bruce Lee pose, pointed his finger at her, and declared, I said, you're already dead. Outside, a man was fighting with the police. Several officers were trying to subdue him. The opponent revealed an opening and they captured him. Chung-hia gave a savage smile and said, Yaunhan Mai, you have to get the golden gene out of here. I, Chung-hia, will draw their fire for you. Suddenly he roared, come on, come at me. Take my life. It's worth it to take you all down with me, blood-forbidden art. As he finished his words, a strange power erupted from Chung-hia's body. At that exact moment, a beam of power emitting a blue light shot down at him. His moment of coolness was cut short as the blue power beam startled him, forcing him to dodge hastily. Another enemy! The dust slowly settled, revealing Yaunhan Mai. She stumbled to her feet. Chung-hia asked in surprise, Yaunhan Mai, but your nano-armor is supposed to be white. Why are you covered in soot, little sister? I risked my life for us to regroup. I was just hoping you'd get away with the goods, and now look what's happened to you. Ah, she quickly signals to him with her eyes. Chu-yi, I've hidden the goods. Let's retreat first. The two of them created a cloud of smoke to blind the police and then vanished. A nearby manhole cover rattled slightly. In an old abandoned building complex, the two had found their hiding spot. Yao Yimei, exhausted, had finally escaped the police. Chu-yi remarked, as expected of nano-armor, to think it recovered so quickly after taking that heavy hit. A pair of feet was slowly approaching the two of them. A voice even called out mockingly, Hey, beautiful! You still haven't explained to me why you took the liberty of barging into my house. So it was you, Yi-he. You followed us all the way here like a ghost. You two must have realized you have a very serious problem by now. I originally planned to pick a random lucky neighbor, but who would have thought you'd pick me, the great master himself? Barging into a civilian's home deserves a fitting reward. Let me have some proper fun with you two. Chu-yi, enraged, rudely demanded, How did you find us? His eyes were already turning slightly bloodshot. Yi-he could sense it. Yao Yimei's body was contaminated with nuclear radiation. He looked at them arrogantly, challenging, If you're going to fight, then stop talking. He channeled strength into his arm and lunged forward, preparing to teach him a lesson. He provoked him, saying, I was just looking for someone to test the durability of my demonic prisoner physique. Terrified, Chu-yi threw his hands up to block, thinking anxiously, This is bad. Yi-he charged forward, attacking him directly with the raging mountain fist. From just that one move, Chu-yi's eyes bulged as he coughed up blood. Yi-he had aimed a precise punch straight into his gut. With just a single swing of his arm, Chu-yi's face was distorted as he flew into the distance. Yao Yimei's eyes widened in surprise as she stammered, Such a powerful martial technique. Little brother, which master did you learn from? Chu-yi fainted on the spot while he remained completely unharmed. He gave a devilish smile and replied, I learned from Demora. Yao Yimei was unfamiliar with the name, thinking to herself. Demora, I've never heard of him. To think a small city like N City has so many hidden masters. Just then, Chu-yi regained consciousness. It seems he's one of those who won't shed a tear until they see the coffin. He said arrogantly, Don't get cocky, kid, Yi. He glanced at Chu-yi with ice-cold eyes. He suddenly transformed into his true demon beast form. It turned out Chu-yi also possessed a demon beast. Behind him was a giant rhinoceros roaring wildly. Chu-yi said smugly, I am a proper level 6 martial artist. I'm not someone a little martial artist brat like you can control. His true form was a rhinoceros. With a single stomp of its feet, the ground cracked in two. Chu-yi, now completely mutated with sharp spikes growing all over his body, charged to attack Yi-he. The art of the 5 elements walk. Yi-he was excited by his mutated form. He smiled a grin stretching from ear to ear and said, Now this is more like it. From behind, Yao Yimei had activated her invisibility ability, planning a sneak attack on Yi-he. She thought smugly, You didn't expect my nano-armor to have a stealth function, did you, kid? I'm the real one on the attack. She thought she was about to succeed, but Yi-he simply raised his hand. A wave of power shot out instantly, knocking Yao Yimei out. He said in a deep voice, Stop getting in the way. Yi-he slammed her straight into the wall behind them. One opponent down. Chu-yi saw that he had defeated Yao Yimei with just one arm. He trembled with rage, cursing, Useless trash, this Yao Yimei can't even pull off a sneak attack. Chu Yi regained his confidence, clenched his fists, and charged forward. "It's all up to me now." He remained calm, a smirk on his lips as he said, "Bring it on." His eyes glowed as if waiting for his prey. He blocked the attack with just one arm. The power radiating from it was immense. He's eyes widened in surprise as he realized its defense increased that much. Chu Yi laughed gleefully and said scornfully, "Kid, the true body of my Iron Rhino demon beast can easily withstand a shot from a tank. What do you plan on using to break through it?" Not only had its defense increased, but its attack power was also much stronger. He thrust his rhinoceros horn forward as if to pierce Yi He. He tried his best to dodge. A loud explosion rang out as Chu Yi shouted, "Go meet your maker!" Several spots in the abandoned building were now dented from their battle. Chu Yi said arrogantly, "Little devil, no matter how arrogant you are in front of me, Chu Yi, you can't withstand a single blow." As soon as he finished speaking, he looked around but saw no sign of Yi He. He panicked, wondering, where is he? Chu Yi turned back to continue searching for him. He didn't believe that after that last punch, he still had the strength to escape. Just then, Yi He's true form appeared. He was tens of thousands of times larger than Chu Yi. Just standing up caused the surrounding ground to tremble. Chu Yi exclaimed in alarm, "What the hell is that?" Chu Yi started to panic, his mouth agape as he gasped, "Is this a demon beast? Where did it come from? Don't tell me that little devil transformed into it." A giant hand shot towards Chu Yi at rocket speed. The hand slammed down, causing the ground to shatter. However, Chu Yi managed to jump away in time, escaping a fatal blow. But he was just an ant. Yi He prepared to slam down again with his other hand. His brutal attack immediately sent dirt and dust flying everywhere. Yi He raised one hand high, gathering energy to create a shockwave. He aimed right at Chu Yi and unleashed a barrage of punches. Suddenly, the system displayed a notification: host Yi He. State supergiant humanoid form, composite physique 23.8 to 294. At that moment, Yao Yimei, who had just woken up nursing her injuries, witnessed Yi He's body and began to tremble and stutter. She said, "I was such a complete fool. Why did I have to provoke this monster?" Yao Yimei scanned the surrounding terrain, calculating the best possible solution. She said, "If this keeps up, Chu Yi will be beaten to death, and we can't escape either. The only option is to risk it all." She leaped onto the roof of a nearby building. Holding a glowing red wire in her mouth, she dove down, using it to bind Dihoa. Yao Yimei shouted, "This is a filament from my nano-armor. It's strong enough to slice through high-grade synthetic metal." She then flew around him, letting the wire wrap tighter. Yao Yimei yelled again, "Even if you use some kind of gene tech to become a giant, and even if it made you strong, the weaknesses of the flesh can never be changed." And just like that, the wire sliced Dihoa's head clean off. She landed gently as the head fell right in front of her. She quickly retracted the wire, and thinking she had finally defeated Dihoa, she let out a sigh of relief. Did I finally succeed? But her relief was short-lived. The head was still active. Dihoa opened his mouth, a ball of energy, preparing to attack her. Terrified, Yao Yimei trembled and stammered, "Monster!" as a massive beam of power shot out, piercing through the entire building. The last image in Yao Yimei's memory was an endless flash of blue light. Smoke and dust billowed everywhere, taking a long time to finally settle. Still smoking, Dihoa reverted to his normal form. He walked slowly, step by step, toward the barely breathing Chungia, his eyes filled with contempt. He looked down at him and said, "Now it's your turn." Covered in blood, Chungia struggled to open his mouth, whispering, "You monster!" Dihoa looked at him with the glowing eyes of a demon. "Those who kill must always be prepared to be killed." "That's only fair." Chunghia hung his head. Suddenly, the flashing lights and sirens of police cars filled the air outside. Knowing he couldn't escape, he said, "If I have to die this soon, then I'm dragging you down with me, Yao Yimei, that woman you just killed. I hid something in your room called the Golden Gene." His face twisted into a hideous, crazed mask as he screamed, "And now it's all yours. You'll face an endless pursuit. You'll have to live like a rat in the shadows. I'll be waiting for you in hell." Disgusted and tired of his rambling, Dihoa delivered a final kick, silencing him for good. Dihoa added, "You talk way too much." He could see the police were nearby and muttered, "The cops are here. I need to dispose of the bodies and fast." Looking at the destruction he'd caused, Dihoa thought, "I might have gone a little overboard this time." By the time he returned to his apartment, it was already midnight. He sat on his bed and made a call. "Auntie Tan, how are things with the police?" The person on the phone replied, "It's nothing but Dihoa. Things have been tense lately. You should just keep a low profile until you leave for Huadu University. He quickly replied, Don't worry, Auntie Tan, you know me, I'm a straight arrow. The voice on the other end said, That's good then. He stood up, tossed his phone aside, and sighed. Good thing I gave Auntie Tan a heads up. Otherwise, with a signature move as obvious as that energy blast, the police would have definitely traced it back to me. It was just as Chung Hia had said. Yao Yimei really had hidden the gene tube in his room. Di Hoa held it in his hand, examining it. So this is the golden gene those two were talking about. On the tube was a symbol of a large beast. He realized he'd seen this symbol before in the Prometheus file the person from Huadu had given him. This is the logo of the Thunder Rock, a titan in the biotech field. Thinking back on the two of them, it started to make sense. Looks like those two stole this from the Thunder Rock Corporation. While on the run, they must have been facing all sorts of pursuers. Recalling his vile expression, he guessed, and from the sound of it, he just dumped this whole mess on me. Di Hoa glanced at the large hole he'd blasted through his window. He stuck his hands in his pockets, thinking, Looks like I'll have to move. I'll find a hotel to crash at for tonight. In the B-rank secret realm, deep within the Swan Lake region, a girl standing on a wolf's head asked, How was the haul on your end? A man answered, It was decent, we got a few things. Suddenly, a massive tremor shook the ground. Everyone on alert! The girl called out in alarm. This is bad, Captain, look over there! Following her shout, they looked into the distance. A colossal beast had appeared, and behind it a terrifying horde charged forward. Wave after wave, they stampeded toward them like a hurricane. Leading the horde was a particularly massive demonic beast. It's a Dominator-rank beast, a 5th-stage blood-eyed black ape. People scattered in panic. They urged, Quick, report this to the military. A Dominator rank is leading a massive beast tide, they worriedly shouted. Ancheng City won't be able to hold it off. The nation has to dispatch Grandmaster or Great Grandmaster level martial artists for support. Damn it, high-rank demonic beasts almost never leave their own territory to enter low-rank beast zones. Why is this happening? The beast stared forward with a terrifying expression. Suddenly its eyes turned blood red, unleashing an immense wave of energy. Giant boulders began to rain from the sky. In a panic, people fled while screaming for help. Emergency, a Dominator-rank beast has appeared in the Swan Lake secret realm. The beast tide is spreading, one man yelled in terror, requesting support. As he cried out for help, a huge boulder fell, crushing him instantly. At the same time, a mechanical voice responded, Message received, Dominator-class incursion confirmed. Please respond! Please respond! The beast reared up, looking impossibly huge. Its maw opened in a massive roar. Full-scale assault! A large black hole began to form in the sky.